Hello.
There's literally an option for it.
Hello, we're live.
We mess with that later.
Salutations! Good to be back on the air.
Hello, everybody. It's been a
Hello.
couple of weeks since we haven't been able to play due to IRL stuff. I always feel bad about canceling the stream like last minute for anybody who's actually like watching along live. But you know, sometimes this happens. We can't, you know, I would be feeling worse if I were to force my players to play when they're not feeling 100%. But we are back with another stream of Dark Souls Dirge of Drangleic, another session of Dark Souls Dirge of Drangleic. This time around, actually I don't know if the music is playing on my end.
No.
Yeah, no, hold on. Let me make sure that it's showing. But while I do that, I hope everybody has been having a great couple of weeks. And well, we're gonna be coming back to where we left off last time with the rest of the party. Because also, yeah, Rabbit, you've been away for a couple of weeks. We gave you like a slight recap of what happened last time. But you know, obviously, if you want, we can get to what Rock was up to like this last couple of in-game hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can either be doing the Rock doing the autopsy on the giant, or we can have that just been a background thing you're doing. I'm down to RP it if you want to.
I mean, like, if you believe like any significant RP would happen during that segment, then we can do that.
Yeah. It'd be useful to gain some potential information that I can bring up in dialogues and stuff. And potentially interact with some NPCs in the background. Plus, it's also been a while since I've been doing my Rock voice, so it'll be a good way to kind of bring myself into it before proper RP with everybody.
Before that, you know, as usual, shout outs to Sound Phenomenon for providing some of the background music that we are going to be hearing throughout the campaign. Shout outs to Larian Studios for also being chill with us, just using the Baldur's Gate soundtrack from time to time. And you know, shout outs to From Software, and shout outs to my players and the artists for, you know, the token for the art for all the NPCs. Mostly my players, obviously, because without them this would not be possible, obviously. Well, today I'll just do the recap myself, you know, because we've been a couple of weeks without a session. Last we left off for Go ahead.
Then who gets the inspiration?
I mean, I think everybody still has some, at the very least.
No.
I do not.
Lapasua could do one. Oh boy.
I mean,
Yeah.
if
Let's just force Rap to do the recap, even though he literally is not equipped to, so he can get inspiration.
and thank you, Weewu, for shoutouts to the DM for running the game. That boosts my ego a lot. Thank you. I mean, if y'all are really keen on doing one of you doing the session recap, like, feel free. I was just gonna do it just to, you know, get to it.
I mean, I know I don't have any inspiration, but I also can't do anything to get excited over.
We are literally fucking 6-year-old children. We all like start like begging to do something, and then as soon as Vorti's like, "Okay, do it," nobody fucking wants to.
Okay,
Go on,
okay.
Vorti.
I can do the recap.
Okay, well then go ahead, take it away.
Salutations, everybody. Last session, we started off right after where we left off where we had killed a giant. We had killed the giant and up in the foothills near Fort Cardinal. Not too long after that, we had a fairly long discussion about what our next plan of action was to be. The Emerald Herald appeared and talked to the party regarding souls and a few other esoteric things that honestly at this point I've totally forgotten. However, not too long after, the Drangleic soldiers from Fort Cardinal all showed up. The Emerald Herald disappeared, and all the party members began working with the people of Fort Cardinal and the soldiers to dedicate their efforts towards possibly facing off against what could likely be the spearhead of a giant invasion. And Signis and Valencia. Wait, no. Signis opted to. No, Signis is opted to help plan and help up the soldiers of Fort Cardinal plan out defense strategies, and then Valencia had a massive argument with Shieldbearer, result that needed to be broken up by the resident and Phantom Thief before it got too heated, because the two were absolutely going for each other's throats with their insults. Signis accidentally pissed Ace off by not really being frank with her about his reasons for not giving her a project that he wanted done. He sort of insulted at her craftsman's pride, and as a result, she is now pissed. Following that, Signis and Valencia went and worked on planning out the defenses with the people of with Captain Drummond and the people of Fort Cardinal, while the rest of the party returned to the inn for a break. We then proceeded to have a segment where Atlas had a discussion with Ace about their origins and, well, their condition. And following that, we had a segment with Shield Basher, and the party, followed by everybody then returning to the inn, where Signis proceeded to grab a bottle of alcohol and get drunk. And I believe that is the entire session.
Effectively, that did cover pretty much most of the important bits. You can give yourself an inspiration. Do note, Shieldbearer had a bit of a conversation with Valencia's retainers. I
forgot. My bad.
Basically led to Shieldbearer airing out his grievances with the way Valencia runs the shop, so to speak, around the party. Just point that out there. We did end it with Atlas and Ace just about to talk to Armorer Dennis, actually, the last session, I believe. And that's kind of where we call things.
And Dr. Rock was gone the entire session, and he was he was inspecting the giant's body.
Correct. So I guess I'll ask you guys. I gave it for some doubts, however small. I guess I'll ask you guys if you want us to cut to, if y'all would want us to cut to either Dr. Rock at the moment, or or to Atlas and Ace.
Do what you must.
Let me cut to Rock as flashback before.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that. That makes sense chronologically.
Okay. Then let's wind the clock back a couple of hours. Immediately after the fall of the giant and the report made to Captain Drummond, the body of the first giant, the scout that you guys have destroyed and killed, it is brought over to this kind of inner courtyard of the Fort Cardinal, area. There's not a lot of places where a body of this size could potentially fit other than a courtyard. So sadly, you're gonna have to make do without a completely sterilized environment, Dr. Rock. As you are brought over to El Valencia will walk over here at listen to this conversation halfway through. I believe that's that could happen. Rock, you are led, alongside the body of the first giant, here to one of the courtyards in the inner perimeter of Fort Cardinal. They effectively lay it out on top of this sort of like, what is originally supposed to be like scaffolding, effectively, for the actual like fort, maybe to build like watchtowers, sort of like. But it's currently being used to just kind of lay the body of the giant on top of this. The soldiers that accompanied, or rather, the soldiers that you accompanied to the fort, have kind of just begin to stand around. You do see that occasional, medical specialist, as it were, of the fort begin to like appear in this courtyard, and they seem to be kind of baffled at the moment. You can tell, those that you can see, whose faces you can't see, you can tell just based on their body language that they're kind of very thrown off by what they're looking at here. Captain Drummond is not around, but you are being overseen by another member of the Drangleic, army, and here in Fort Cardinal. Some people, like I said, like medical officers and the like. They look at you a little bit, expectantly, and say, "From what we hear, you are the medical specialist of your own band of travelers. What is it that you believe you're able to discern from this thing upon inspection?"
Well, I will limit my observations to what you wish to know to now than down time, but if you wish, I can gather where their vital organs are located, the density of their bones, their muscular structure, the toughness of their skin, and other such things that might be useful in a conflict. To know what they may have, what they might not, and so forth, so on and so forth. Though you would have to let me know what you wish to know first and more prominently, for we only have the one specimen, and taking things from this one may leave us without information, for we do not have another.
He thinks for, the people around you kind of think for a second, and they nod and say, "Well, I suppose that'll help us a lot to know exactly what we're fighting here, seeing as last records of this creature's existence are far and few between. You've been given permission by the captain of the fort to conduct whatever procedures you need to conduct. We will assist in whatever way possible here."
Very well. Let's begin. And Rock would put on his mask as he would mutter to himself. Let us hope that, as he'd mutter quietly to himself in his native tongue, which is basically just fancy German, would say, "Now let's see if I have not lost my touch." As he would kind of just go, make sure his hands are gloved and everything, and before he begins any surgery, he would place his hands on the giant's skin as he would attempt to get a grasp on just what sort of texture the skin has, because they blended in quite well to the stones, but it's like, is their body skin quite tough, resembling kind of stone, or is it still soft and pliable like flesh, so he knows what tools he might need to begin the autopsy to begin with.
Okay. I just realized the reactive mages are messing up. I guess what I'm gonna need you to do is a medicine check, just to start like figuring out, how to even cut into this creature to begin with, and figure, the stuff that you're wanting to figure out.
Okay, medicine. I do not have any of the things that from the other one that make autopsy better, because I've not done all that yet. I did click it. Did it work?
Okay.
There we go.
That's an 11. I was gonna say I'm gonna give you advantage on this because you are being assisted by a number of different officers from.
There we go. 21.
Okay. So you Well, first of all, you realize the things that you could have already told from just fighting this thing initially. The skin, like I said, like we established, hard as stone, same texture, same density almost. It's as if it's kind of like in layers. The first layer is probably like the toughest one that just straight up feels like stone. But it's not, impenetrable. With enough effort, cutting or piercing implements are able to actually go through the layer of skin. After which, it's like I said, like this different layers before you are even able to reach anything that resembles what you think is like a bone, which looks less like actual bone, more like wood, like ironwood, basically. These things are as biological as they are. They are as pseudo-humanoid slash mineral as they are organic. You see that it's almost as if their bodies are composed of various like different elements, like a composite of organic materials and minerals. You see that in fact. From what you're able to, cut into the body of this giant, you start to notice a very slow process already taking place. Even after the death of the creature, you see that there is this, almost like moss, basically growing on their interior. It looks like this thing is rapidly, not decomposing, but transforming into something else. As if its body, it's effectively turning more organic the longer it remains dead. Taking into account the fact that their bones seem to be kind of like wooden almost in nature, you can extrapolate with that same medicine check that some process takes place after death, where they seem to start to become almost tree-like in nature.
Yeah. Rock would point to one of the assistants he has, noticing the skin, and would tell them, "You're there. Get me von hammer and chisel I need to make an entry point, as these creatures are very tough on the outer layer, so we'll have to employ tactics like skinning a very tough fish. You got to get an entryway and cut through the rest." And once he does so, he would get a saw and kind of begin sawing open the chest cavity to be able to start peeling away the chest to get an actual look at the internal organs. As when Rock does so, he would take note of and be drawing an accurate medical diagram of what they have inside. So, for example, do they have stomachs? Do they have lungs? And so on. Because he's looking at, because their face is just a hole. So for him, he doesn't know if they have organs like people. Because if they have a stomach, that means they need to eat. And he can examine what they eat so they know potentially where the giants might be setting up as well.
You can roll. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that at like another thing that Rock might want to prioritize after that is maybe looking for like the heart or brain, because then at least people know where to aim if we're fighting them down the line.
Yeah, obviously he's looking for basically all the internal organs they have to know what they possess. That might be different, because clearly they aren't, especially because they seem to be a mixture of stone skin, flesh, and wood. They're clearly not normal. Luckily, Rock comes from the abnormal is normal.
I need to make me another medicine check at advantage.
Okay, I have advantage toggled. I have just the thing, it's just being a bit slow. I think it's because I'm using the VPN feature in my browser so I can actually see some tokens. Oh, and that 20.
Okay, natural 20, 27. You begin, at this point you're handed like a little bit more like slightly heavier like implements that are basically just like, tree saws basically, and they're like chisels, picks basically. You.
And Rock would make sure to thoroughly sterilize them before use.
I don't know how you
And-
can do that specifically with this particular implements, but you know.
he's got some acid on him.
I suppose that sounds like you will just damage the actual implement.
He has chemicals and stuff. He can use a bit just to kill anything on them.
Okay, sure. We'll say that you're able to do that then. You begin to kind of chisel away effectively, for lack of a better term, at the body of the giant. Trying to find like vital organs or something to that effect. You notice that they do indeed have organs to some extent. They are made effectively the same sort of like ironwood type of like material as the as the bone structure. Almost if there's no real distinction between the organs and the bones for this particular creature. You believe you find something that looks like like lungs, which are very big. You did see this thing capable of emitting like a sonic boom from its mouth, so presumably it needs strong lungs in order to do that. You see something that looks like a heart, which is the shape of a heart, but again, it's kind of like this weird sort of like wood, slash like hard, stone like material. It does seem, however, that the heart begins to branch out actually when you find it. It almost as if it's like trying to take root, akin to how, say, a potato. If you guys have ever seen like images of like potatoes trying to take root,
where is the fucking soil?
Yeah, basically, like they just kind of like spread out like all over the place. It looks basically like that. So just imagine like this sort of like wooden-esque like shape that kind of resembles a heart, but has began to sprout like different sort of like branches and roots from it.
Rock they can't see this because of Rock's mask, but in his mask he is very puzzled because he's likely seen and experienced some fucked shit in his homeland. But I don't think he's ever experienced a creature that's both stone, meat, and tree all at the same time.
This is definitely something that you have no real prior experience with, Rock.
Yeah.
You are learning.
He's used to weirdness, at least.
Yeah, you are learning as much as the people assisting you are learning at the moment. And I'll say, to kind of summarize the process here, you are effectively able to pick out where the quote-unquote vital organs are at. You see that there is they have a spine. It does seem like it connects with with the head, but there's no actual indication of how their head works. It's just like this gaping hole that still puzzles you. Doesn't seem to be connected to anything in particular, other than the small duct, as it were, that would be where their lungs go to. It still, despite I'm not gonna say 27 wasn't enough to figure out how they work. No, it was definitely a pretty high number. I'll say you have enough medical knowledge to know that these things don't seem to precisely follow, laws of like a biological creature. The potato giant as well. Thank you, Bruce Wayne.
So when I was looking through it, did they actually have a stomach? Like, do they seem to eat, or was that completely absent?
It seems that this thing has evolved to work without a stomach. There is something that resembles a stomach there, but it has been effectively disconnected from the rest of its anatomy. It's almost as if their bodies didn't always have like a hole in their head. And something happened through evolution that made it, or through evolution or other means that made it so they needed to adapt to exist without it.
So it's currently a biological redundancy. It's something still in the body that's not actually doing anything.
Basically. It is, however, same as all the other organs that I've mentioned before, beginning to do that sort of like branching process of sorts. Almost as if the entire body is just trying to become like nutrients for this tree/plant-like state that the body's rapidly turning into.
Okay. Now, examining the body and also the organs themselves, would Rock be able to point out like weak spots in the flesh, the bones, and such for like where you can strike the heart and where on the heart's an ideal point? Because you said it's a mixture of wood and stone a bit.
In summary, you would be able to notice that their bone structure is very similar to a regular humanoid, rib cage, femurs, whatever. But like I mentioned, the bones are particularly sturdy. They're kind of like ironwood. So you come to the conclusion that if there is to be an effective course of attack against these things, is precisely to attack from a low angle, to angle weapons, upwards onto, so they go under the rib cage and pierce organs.
Another useful thing I would like to examine, if I can't already with the Nat 20, I want to know the location of the tendons, because these things are big, so hitting their tendons, like their Achilles tendon and stuff, would potentially be a bit easier, if they have any.
The closest thing you're able to find to like muscle mass and tendons and the like is effectively just looks like, how do I word this? Like silicone almost. It doesn't look exactly particularly, I mean, it looks sturdy to some extent, but it doesn't look particularly, I guess, reachable, assuming that every giant has like a sort of like stone-like skin. If the it's one of those cases where you believe that they likely are very keenly aware of where their weak spots are and actively, try to not show them.
Would ask if he can receive a metal tray that he can place some samples on to present to the people in the war room to give an idea of what exactly they're dealing with, if that is acceptable.
Well, the medical officers that are working with you in this process, they have already begun taking their own notes of what the findings are, and they will effectively be bringing these to the war room when the whole process is kind of dealt with. They would prefer to keep the body as full, as complete as possible outside of this initial autopsy, but they will let you know that they are taking notes of all of this.
Rock would at least take a sample of the skin to kind of give that as a reference, because a tissue sample, that's not going to be that problematic to take to show.
I will say they will allow that to a certain extent.
Yeah, like he'll get like a sample of just basically a small slice of the wooden bone, or like a cutting from the heart, from the organs that are growing out, just to kind of show the plant bit, and like a piece of the stone skin to kind of show the differentiation. And would I need to roll a separate check for like Rock making a very detailed documentation of basically the anatomy, basically anatomy sketchbook type drawing of the inner of the now cut open giant?
Is Rock proficient in like calligrapher supplies, sphincter supplies, cartographer supplies, anything that involves drawing on something?
No, I have herbalism, alchemist, I can't link. I have herbal, alchemist, poisoner, smiths, tinctures, glassblowers, and medicine.
Then in that case,
I'm proficient in sleight of hand. If that helps at all.
In that case, because you did got a nat 20 on the previous check, I'll say you have a circumstantial bonus here. We'll say it's a plus. I'll say it's a +4, but you can make me a sleight of hand check.
Advantage because of the people assisting, or no?
I'll say by this point they are effectively too focused on doing their own notes to provide advantage for this particular check.
Okay. I click the thing. That is an 18. You said +4, correct?
Yeah, circumstantial +4, 18. Yep, I'll say this is a good enough sketch, especially for a creature that you're not familiar how exactly it works prior to today. I'll say that's a decent enough sketch that you're able to present to the people in the war room for, alongside the findings that you've already kind of noted down.
Rob would have made 2. He would have made a small one for his own notebook, and likely a larger canvas version that you can kind of show on like a board and such.
Sounds fun so far, basically. Okay, well, you make 2 of these and you keep one for yourself. With that,
Yeah.
I'll say you're able to present the the sketch to the people in the war room to be able to for them
Yeah.
to come up with strategies based around what your findings have figured out.
Yeah. Rockwood mentioned that he's learned everything we can learn from this, since there's not much else they can really tell beyond that. They found where the equivalency of what their tendons are, their spinal cord, their vital organs, but other bits they don't have. So it's like, pretty much it's aim for the spine, the neck, the heart, or the lungs. Those are the only real 3 weak spots those are the only 3 vital areas they have.
Okay. In that case, we'll say this happened over the course of a couple of hours, so that then the timeline kind of matches up with where the rest of the party is at the moment.
I imagine it would, because Rock's having to cut through stone-like chest, peel that back, then potentially bypass ironwood bones, examining organs, making an accurate diagram of a huge-sized creature, finding the tendons and all that sort of bit. So
this
would have taken a while.
Yeah, it would have taken a long while. I'll say, however, by the end of all of this process, that you're roughly going to be arriving back at the inn around the same time that the conversation between Atlas, Ace, and Dennis, and maybe potentially Valencia as well, is done with.
Okay.
In that case, we cut back to the rest of the party. But before we properly do the interaction with Dennis, which is likely going to take a moment, I asked those who are not involved in the interaction if their character would be doing something during this moment. So Signis, Shieldbearer, what are you guys going to be up to during this?
Shieldbearer would reluctantly ask Fern for their language lesson of the day.
Okay. You already kind of started this language training lesson a while back in
Yes.
Missoula. Do you remember how many days you had of training there?
6 out of 15.
Okay, so I ask you now, are you going to try to cram knowledge in this particular
Always.
thing? Okay. Because this is a language-based, learning process, I believe this would be an intelligence check. Because you're trying to memorize, or at the very least, learn and understand what you're seeing.
Fantastic.
Damn.
No. This is exactly what I hoped that happened.
I am sorry, Marine. I siphoned away some of the decent RNG.
No. This is exactly what I hoped to happen. Because, yes, exactly like Valencia says, you see just Shieldbearer is not in it with his head.
I mean, hey, if you want to use your inspiration, or already has it, you could. But if you believe this is appropriate, then sure.
No, I hope this would happen. That Fern would just see Shieldbearer during the lessons constantly be talking back to Shieldbearer.
You are a little bit too unfocused during this day of training to properly gather any particular knowledge from this. In fact, Fern at times has to kind of call you multiple times so that you're like, hey, hold on, are you here? Are you listening? While you're mid-conversation with Shield Basher. Okay, so that's what you would be doing. You would be doing your day of training here. Sadly, because you failed the check, you don't make any particular progress for the day as per my rules of training.
Yes.
Signis, would you be doing anything in particular besides getting drunk, I guess?
I don't think he would be doing anything in particular except for Actually, yeah, I think he would just be he would get drunk and then try and get sober not too long after, because he doesn't like breaking down his fucking he got drunk and then he was like, shit, I overestimated my alcohol tolerance, and just spends a while being like, okay, I need to fucking in, because he doesn't want to like break character, is what he's doing.
I don't believe that's exactly how it works, where you can you get drunk and then you can choose to suddenly become sober. But
No,
you know.
no, he's just sitting down waiting for the alcohol to wear off. That's what he's doing.
Okay, so you're just kind of chilling at the moment.
Yeah.
In that case, now we properly cut to where we left off at the end of previous session. Ace, AR. You open the door to the inn room that you guys have left ruined Alphys and armored Dennis inside of. Alphys is still completely silent, has not said really a word since you guys captured him. Dennis, on the other hand, the moment he sees you walk into the room, he looks over at you guys and goes, "Oh, to what do I owe this visit? My cellmate here is not particularly talkative, I realize."
You said that you were going to talk to us and give us the information that we needed. Does your offer still hold true?
Looks at you and kind of shrugs and says, "Well, I guess that depends. You're not gonna toss me into the jail at Fort Cardinal still, are you?"
That
Atlas kind of like
remains to. Well, that remains on. Well, if your information's accurate and if you ain't trying to hoodwink us.
And what are you gonna say, Jericho?
Atlas is like, is there like a table, like in?
Sure,
in
I'll
the
say
room?
there's like a nightstand somewhere in the room.
Yeah, Atlas is going to like take a table, put it in front of Dennis, get a chair, and just like sit in front of Dennis. Literally just like a fucking interrogation thing.
Ace kind of thinks to herself, huh, so this is what it's like on the other side of this.
True. We have good cop and good bad cop. we actually have good cop, bad cop, because there is no way that Atlas is gonna be the good cop in this scenario.
Dennis,
What's it called?
go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, go on.
He just sees you like put like the little small table like in front of him, sit down, looks back at you, and says, "What?"
I am going to name you. You are from the Iron Kingdom. I have heard that the Iron Kingdom is a domain of industrial innovation.
Well, first of all, it's called Alken, but you are correct. We do. They do have a lot of very crazy machinery stuff over there. An entire forge that serves and functions almost, autonomously. There is some humanoid intervention, I guess you could say. But for the most part, it was brought, or so the story says, about by the miracle that the Iron King was, capable of finding.
That miracle being power over iron.
So the stories say. It was ages and ages ago. The Iron King is way older than what many people might believe. I was not around when all of this happened. I was already born when things were going the way they were going.
That makes me curious as to exactly how things are, as you put it, going. It seems to me that your glory days are waning.
Well, last I left Alken, the curse, as it were, that is plaguing the land had already begun to hit it. Some people started acting weird. Some lost their appetite. They didn't sleep. Some others went crazy, started attacking people. Hollows, they call them, I believe, once the curse gets that particularly bad. The Iron King called for this thing, for undead hunts to happen. If somebody became far too much of a danger to society, they would get, hunted down. I got, shall we say, into trouble roughly around the time where the undead hunt started. I guess I picked a hell of a time to get out of Vulcan.
How long has that been going on?
So, I don't know, probably for like the last 2 years or so.
What's it called? Atlas is going to, place like a, lean a bit forward, place like a palm on like a table, to make like a slight clatter, and says,
I am going to give you a list of materials. They will start off basic and perhaps obvious, but I am trying to gauge the industrial knowledge of your kingdom.
Looks down. I'm guessing it's the same list that you have been sending me like every once in a while that Atlas is looking for.
So, yeah, like, Atlas will just kind of like say like,
Firstly, as may be obvious, but I will require you to answer the question. Are you familiar with iron?
Looks like you like really do.
I mean,
Oh my!
I mean, Tin Man.
He's turning.
The epithet of the leader of that whole place is
We are starting
Iron
small.
almost everybody's heard of iron. I think that's a bit obvious. Like, you probably skipped past gold.
what's it called?
Go ahead.
Like, Atlas is just been like staring at Ace for like a bit, but then like just like turns their fucking like visor back to, like, Dennis, like, answer the question.
Dennis shrugs and says, yes, we have iron, yes, we have steel, silver, gold, what else we have? We have titanite, lots of titanite.
Copper.
Copper as well, we have that too. We have almost anything, mineral that you can think of.
Aluminium.
Things for he goes like, huh? What? It's like, is that like some form of alloy?
Galena crystal.
Looks confused.
So,
Germanium.
friggin'. Actually,
Go ahead, Bart. What are you gonna say? He's gonna say.
friggin'. Well, I think. Wait, isn't there like other names for aluminum?
There probably is. I will say that
I think it was.
you definitely will not know what germanium is because Germany probably doesn't exist in your fucking world.
If I'm correct, aluminum was like once known as like orichalcum or something. Let me see.
Wait.
Alum. So aluminum comes from alum, which is like an actual like dye that they used to use in like in medieval times.
He looks over at you. He thinks for a second, says, "We have tin." Does tin work for you?
It's a little closer to that. Wait.
I was googling to see if aluminum had a medieval name. It was unknown during medieval times.
Yeah, because it is like something that you have to go out of your way to to produce. It is not a rather it's naturally occurring, but it naturally occurs in like very sensitive states. You need to extract it from
Salts and stuff.
like bauxite or
Describe describe it, because it might be a different name.
What's it called? Just kind of like you know, like after his like reactions to these things, like Atlas will kind of say,
Maybe it's better to describe. Well, Atlas, maybe it's better to describe the material. Maybe it goes
No.
by a different name.
I am trying to figure out the terminologies that they are able to produce. If not any of the things that I have said. Do you have quartz?
He thinks for a second. He says, yeah, actually, I think we've have a couple of imports from Melfia in the form of quartz.
Melfia. Noted. And what about
Okay.
bauxite?
Looks at you, shrugs. You're mentioning a lot of things that I'm almost halfway convinced that are made up. Here's the thing. I'm gonna put it very plainly. Iron, steel, those are like the two main things that you're gonna find in Alken. That plus Titanite. Titanite is everywhere in the world.
Atlas kind of like nods and says like,
Bauxite. Oh! Ace kind of snaps her fingers. Okay, almost it's a kind of rock, about my hue in color.
Atlas kind of like looks over at you, Ace, and like kind of like stares at you for a bit, slowly turns to, Dennis and says,
Yes, as my associate says, very helpfully, it is a kind of rock.
There's lots of kind of rocks around Alken, I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay,
It's almost
Friggin-
like a rust-like color, I think is
Yeah,
the best way to describe it.
like how Ace, basically what Ace was describing, like her skin, like it's literally like her skin color. Friggin'
Dennis thinks for a second and goes, look, I'm going to just put the cards on the table at this point, I think, because we're gonna go in circles, it seems like, if we don't find an answer to all these questions.
orichalcums.
Um,
Ever heard of orichalcum? Material that's made from that sort of mineral.
I do not think they have it.
he thinks for a second, says, look, even if we do have the materials that you guys, are asking that we have, I don't believe we named them the same names that you're saying. We could very well have
Which
what
is-
you're looking for, but we might not specifically, name it the same way that you do. The one that you described, looks at Ace. I believe there was a couple of deposits of that there in Alken as well. But
do you have any?
go ahead.
Oh, go. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
He says, but just to make things as plain as clear that I can make them. Yes, I'm an armorer. I should probably know a lot of these materials that you're asking for, and for the most part, I do. But guess what? I'm also a sorcerer. I did just enough armor to keep myself in business, but my specialty lies more in sorcery. And
Actually, Ace is gonna ask something. Now, it might go by a different name here, but I'm not sure if it's the same name. Well, since you're an armorer, of course, and you've used magic in some of your arms and armor, most likely, not sure if it goes by the same name, but ever get well, it's a little bit hard to come by, and it takes a whole lot more heat to forge.
just
Metal gets metal's usually ore is usually like a dark greenish black. Then once it's purified, once you get all the impurities out, it's a more of a dark bluish green hue. Makes good for siege weapons. Real good for armor.
What's it called?
For a second. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, out of character, I know what you're describing, obviously, but Atlas is going to actually look at you like, well, you can't fucking tell what their fucking, you know, like, what the facial expression is. But they've been looking at you a lot of the time, but like they do seem to like look at you, and you see their head slightly like tilt, and like the sort of like antenna on like their helmet just kind of like, you know, like go a bit askew, and you can kind of tell like they actually also, like, if nothing else, Atlas has no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Atlas doesn't. Ace picks that up like, wait, you don't know about adamantine?
You say that name out loud, and Dennis looks fucking confused. Like he doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about either. He thinks for a second.
Well, does it go by?
He thinks for a second and says, well, I mean, the way you're describing it, I've seen some things that kind of look like that, but not exactly. They have more of a silvery tinge to it. It's called Geistil. You know, it's an alloy that originally came from Mira, and is slowly being adopted into Drangleic's armies.
Gas steel. Speaking on silvery metals,
Now,
there's
we're talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there is another one. It almost looks like silver, but it's a little bit. But it's a little bit more of a gold, like a off white and silver, almost like if you mixed, almost like how do I put it? Well, when you finish it, it shines brighter than silver. Makes for good makes for good magical implements. Makes heavier armor feel lighter than air.
He raises an eyebrow and says, "You're not talking about Braden still, right?"
This sounds like absolute nonsense. What kind of material creates substance that makes things lighter?
So just to clarify, I believe Ace is referring to Mithril, right?
Mithril,
Yeah.
Yeah. So-
Ace is referring to mithril and adamantine, so they do have it, but it goes by different names here.
Yeah, he referred to adamantine as Geistil and to Mithril by Braden. Let me write those down so you sort of
Let's right now.
But like Atlas kind of like, you know, like does look really confused and says,
These,
Actually, yeah.
on top of these, strange materials with strange properties that are for some strange reason shared between you two. What is this titanite you speak of? What are the properties of that?
Legends has it. It's a bit of ore that was born in the Age of Gods, seeped with ancient magics, the likes of which can help even the dullest of blacksmiths forge legendary weapons. It's usually you find it in little scraps and bits and pieces, but rarely and occasionally you find it in larger chunks. If you're lucky enough, you'll find a whole slab of it somewhere underground. And, well...
Have we actually got a slab?
Fuck no.
Because I remember that's one of the things we can roll on the gacha.
Even in the previous campaign, Dark Souls 1, like, you guys only found, like, 2 slabs throughout the course of the campaign. Those are very, very rare. Dennis continues saying, It has lots of properties, mostly to create and reinforce weapons and armor, or magical equipment sometimes. If you're really lucky, you'll find some of the elemental titanite, which, people back at Melfia, try to develop to some extent, and, sometimes you can find it out in the wild as well.
Last thing. Now, this may be a stretch, because this comes from a different plane.
You do not have the authority to say last thing. This interrogation is over when I say it is over.
No, I'm saying last thing of materials I'm thinking of.
Then it's
because I'm not sure.
Then it's a
because I got a different question.
This at this point says, so hold on, I'm kind of confused. Is this interrogation just you guys asking about ore and rocks and stuff? I thought it was gonna be like knowledge and other types of stuff.
Well, we're getting to that.
Also, fun thing, we've technically actually found this alternate Titanite that he's talking about, because that's where Atlas got their fucking bleed stone from.
Like Valencia is just like, I feel like Valencia not just like passing once but passing twice, like thinking like, okay, surely they're not still talking about fucking rocks.
So
they're still talking about fucking rocks.
So this one's a little bit of a rare side. I can't remember exactly how it looks, but when you do melt it down and forge it, it looks almost like bronze or brass. Real handy with magical implements.
He chuckles.
Atlas,
he chuckles and says, "That's just brass."
No. It's a little bit different. Like,
What are you referring to?
She's referring to Mizium stuff, like for Mizium apparatus,
please.
Mizium armor.
Like, you try to describe it a little bit, and he thinks for a second, and comes up short, and just kind of shakes his head and goes like, "I don't know."
Okay, so
Atlas is going to like look over at you, Ace, like specifically like looking over when you say like magical like implements, and Atlas is going to like just like fish out like another fucking chair and like lift you up and just like place you into that seat like next to Dennis.
Don't do. What did I say
Further
about rule
questioning.
number 1?
Do not touch your
No,
things.
rule number 2.
I sort of stopped paying attention after rule number 1.
Don't manhandle me.
You what's it called? You are kind of having like this back and forth, and you just hear Alphys speak up and says, "Dragonbone. You are thinking about Dragonbone. It has the properties that you say it does. It functions to further empower magical implements." Thought he was gonna say? What do you thought he was gonna say? Okay, sure. So yeah, he says that out loud, and he looks over, his shoulder, looking at you.
Okay, so Ace knows that they have Mizium, Adamantine, and Mithril here. That's
One thing we need to get to the bottom of to set things clear. You are a sorcerer.
Guilty as charged.
Pointing at Dennis. And then pointing at you, Ace.
And you seem to throw away the term magic like it's some commodity.
Well, it's kind of, well, the job I worked most of my life on. I am an artificer.
When you say
enchanter.
job you work most on, you see instead of like kind of like going askew, you see like Atlas's like antenna kind of like go on like fucking alert, like a frightened dog, like.
Like, okay, so here's the thing. Sorcerer in the sense, so when you say you're a sorcerer, is it in the sense of you were born with magic or fancy title because you spent some time learning magic?
Born with magic. Only very few people are born with magic. Sorcerers, we study it.
Oh, so you're like a wizard.
What is a wizard?
That's a very crude term.
Seems like us. That's a very crude. Yeah, he will say that.
Yeah.
That's a very crude term. Sorcery is, well, our magic, as you call it.
You both seem to talk about the use of altering reality to your whims as something that is able to be casually attained.
I wouldn't say you alter reality so much as you channel, energy, soul energy to be more precise, with sorcery.
I mean, that kind of...
Channel energy.
I mean, the kind of magic you're thinking of... That's a very... At least from what I know, that is very advanced, and it takes a... either far, long time to learn, or few people who actually know the craft to figure that piece out. Not my forte. Not exactly in my wheelhouse.
Dennis, he does like from time to time glances over at Alphys, who has said like a single thing and then went quiet again. He looks back at you guys, and go ahead. What are you gonna say?
So, in terms of magical might, I heard place. You mentioned that one place, Melfia, the pencil pushers. On the scale of sorcery, how advanced in that particular regard would you say Alkin is?
Thinks for a second and says, honestly, it's a little bit difficult to tell. Alkin doesn't really prioritize sorcery the same way Melfia does. We do have the occasional pyromancer showing up here and there. But, and the occasional sorcerer, yours truly is one of them. But compared against Melfia, no, we don't really prioritize it too much. Now, stories has it that ages and ages ago, there used to be another nation where Alkin once stood. Or at the very least where Ven once stood. Ven being the sister kingdom to Alkin. Long story there, I won't go into it, but the point is that apparently a nation existed back there as well, called Olafis. They say that it was during a time where sorcery was at its peak. And because it was at its peak, it was also really dangerous. Because then anybody could learn sorcery, and anybody could do all sorts of crazy things. So, legends have it that those who were the most dangerous of sorcerers from Olafis were persecuted, thrown into prisons, thrown into vessels with no destination, killed, and well, it's said that those very few that survived were the ones who then began to went on to found the nation of Melphia.
Question. All right, another question.
Seems
Something
there's
that-
no end to those.
Well, it's an interrogation. Of course, there's gonna be questions.
First of all, you, Ace, already said that you said at least 2 units ago that it was going to be your final question.
I said
None
in
of
regards to minerals.
And you are constantly taking over my interrogation, because I have
Well-
not gotten yet to the bottom of how sorcery is commodified in this world. How do you all casually refer to harnessing the power of... harnessing these energies, or tapping into some sort of metaphysical force? Is there a god you pray to? Is there an
Some-
oath that you swear?
I mean, for some folks it is. Different
Dennis,
folk.
Dennis looks at you and says, "Gauze? No, that's the domain of miracles. That's a different type of magic. Here, sorcery, you do it through study. You look at scrolls, you perfect the incantation. You need a catalyst, obviously, to channel sorcery. He gestures over. Actually, well, you guys did take away his equipment, didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. Ace just casually holding staff like.
He didn't use a staff. Remember, he used a sword.
Oh yeah.
He had a sword
Actually,
and shield.
yeah.
He looks over
Ace will-
at you. I guess if you have like the sword like visible at any point. Looks over at you and says, "In my case, it was that little sword. But on average, you'll see people using staves and the like."
Ace will actually look over the sword. Is there anything like a Ruby of the War Mage or like runes etched into the handle or the blade?
It is a
Where it's
very thin blade, both in width and just like the general like shape of the blade itself. Even the handle is like very thin as well. It has like this sort of like semi-circular like hilt, I guess, on the weapon, and it looks oldish, kind of. There's like some scriptures in the handle of the weapon, and as well as the blade itself, like some engravings that you can tell. You don't immediately recognize what any of those engravings means. It is clearly a form of longsword of sorts. But it's it has the length of a longsword, but like I said, it's very thin. You see, yes, you don't see any Ruby or the War Mage. You don't see any immediate effect that would indicate that this is a spell casting focus, other than the fact that it has like those sort of like engravings.
So, So I take it you're a spellblade, then. Are these your own runic etchings in here to make this sword a spell focus of some sort?
Could
nice. Nice. Could be. It ain't even yours.
I got it off a very particularly cheap auction. It was probably the best investment I got.
We ain't been taking care of it.
Oh no, that's just kind of how it looks like. Also, it adds to the legitimacy of the weapon. So people that
Legitimacy, my boot. At least take some pride in taking care of your kit. It's got like not even counting the runes. You got nicks in the blade and the handle. Needs at least some.
It's a weapon.
polishing.
It's a weapon of old. It belonged to the Lady Apostles. They imbue their weapons with special magic that makes, this particular sword both a weapon and a magic catalyst.
Well, even still, if it's an heirloom or something you found at an auction.
Enough! There is no possible way that both of you are talking so casually. The only real explanation for this is that you two are geniuses. And there is no way I can believe that.
Looks over at you and says, I'm sorry, did you manage to shoot a spear made out of soul energy at somebody else? I didn't think so.
That is what I am trying to figure out.
I really find it funny. Atlas looks to Ace. The only thing here is you're incredibly intelligent, and I refuse to believe you're.
Okay. Actually, speaking on that, I've seen spells similar to that, but with more elemental energy. How exactly did
Oh
you?
my god, how is this? How is this difficult to comprehend? You guys.
We've got 3 people with 3 different magic systems trying to like put the fucking jigsaw puzzle together, and they're using 3 different parts from 3 different fucking puzzle sets.
You must be from some form of like, I don't know, other world or something like that. I figured, because there's no way you guys don't understand how this works. It's very simple. You study sorcery, you learn the incantation, you use a catalyst, you shoot out the spell. Done deal.
I understand. No, I understand that. It's just, well, that little trick of yours seemed to have a bit more oomph to it. Unless and it didn't feel like you had powered it at all. Given the fact that you zapped me, Ace has more smoke billowing from her eyes and hair. Like, yeah, she is still pissed about the part that Dennis zapped her.
And as for you, looks at you, AR, and says, look, I don't know which type of place that you come from, but over here, and when I say over here, I mean in Drangleic, Alken, Elimlois, Melfia, all of these nations. What I'm saying is just how sorcery works, how magic works. Some people guide themselves through fate, they do miracles. Some people guide themselves through study and intelligence. Those are sorcerers. And some people just kind of have an affinity with the elements. Those are pyromancers. There is, how do I explain this in a way that you could understand? That's just the way things work. Because that's how they've always worked, since time immemorial.
What's funny is Atlas is forgetting their most common used phrase of the rules when it comes to magic, of the rules of one planetary sphere do not apply to another.
I mean, to be fair, that's what Atlas is trying to figure out. Like, they're not assuming anything. That's what they're trying to fucking get at. But everyone keeps trying to like turn the fucking interrogation into something different.
It's funny because Ace gets it. Like, it ain't different from how she's known magic.
Well, fucking good for her. Atlas is trying to ask questions and nobody's answering them.
He looks over at you and says, now, I don't know this whole thing about, altering the reality around you or something like that. That just sounds like some very high-level sorcery that, sadly, I have yet to properly learn. But, I don't know how to explain it to you, Tin Man. This is just kind of how things work around here.
Okay. So I can kind of answer your question on that for a later date, but we're still getting information. So I've also heard some places around around these parts, so not Drangleic specifically, but elsewhere's, folks have stuff called smoke powder. Powder makes interesting little contraptions, and Ace pulls out one of the fire bombs and the witching urns.
Looks over at you.
Your last question about materials, huh?
Looks
It
back
ain't
at you.
Minerals.
It looks back at
I
you
never
and says, looks back at you and says, "Yeah, we have a couple of those. We have a lot of that in Aachen. Apparently, it's been making the rounds around the rest of the other nations for a while now."
Now, do you just make these fancy little explosives?
You're asking the
or...
wrong person here.
That's in someone else's wheel expertise. Who would we ask for that sort of information?
He shrugs and says, "How should I know that?"
Well, aren't you
On to more important matters.
Well, didn't you say that we're gathering information?
I was gathering information and you barged in. This is my interrogation.
Look, I don't know whose interrogations this is, but honestly, it's getting a little bit tiring of answering all these inane questions. I thought we were going to
Here are
discuss...
less inane questions then. What
Go ahead.
What security can we expect when entering Aachen? Or can we walk in as travelers?
Well, first of all, the border from between Aachen and Drangleic is a little bit tense at the moment. Ever since the last conflict ended with Drangleic taking some land from Aachen, things have been a bit tense between the two nations. If you want to get into Aachen, you're going to need to, well, have one hell of an excuse. Otherwise, you can, I don't know, smuggle yourself in somehow. Now, once you're in there, however, you're mostly allowed to freely travel between the settlements and the like. At least until you get to the capital. Now that is a bit of a different story. I don't know how things have changed in the last time I was there. But the capital is basically an impenetrable fortress. It's a city that is built around a volcano, if you can believe that. And, well, it's the Iron King doesn't have that title for no reason, I'll tell you that. There's lots of very imposing defenses and the like. It's a whole deal. But what I...
As described, this seems surmountable.
He looks at you and says, I mean, hey, if you believe you can overcome them somehow, then that's be my guest.
And regards to the fences, at least while you were, when you left, does the Iron King have his own little contingent of golems
Things for a second.
in his military?
You mean the Ironclads? Yes, there's a lot of them in the Iron Keep, mostly.
One thing I was meaning to ask about that. This place seems to not be particularly further advanced in technology. I was curious as to how those ironclads, as you call them, react to orders intuitively without a remote. They seem to me like unmanned mechs, but it seems to me that you are since sorcery is commodified here, and you mentioned the manipulation of the soul, which I know to be possible in this world. Is that your means of animating them?
That's basically it. You get I think for some you.
Are you from this planetary sphere? I was asking the sorcerer.
Have you worked on golems?
Have you worked on this world's golems?
Dennis rolls his eyes. He's looking like he's very tired of the questions at this point, and he says, "The ironclads are animated via sorcery. Yes, their armor is made in the Iron King's forge. Then it's inscribed with runes on the inside, and then we, you do our usual sorcery to animate it. It answers to the orders of." Well, or ordinarily the person who made the runes, but also of the individual who manipulated the souls into animating it. In the
Ace
end,
has this smug grin now.
so ideally they answer to, well, at the end of the day, however, they answer to the authority of the Iron King. If I was to walk in with my ironclad back into Alken and commanded to, move in and attack one of the Iron King's soldiers, the Iron King could just look at my ironclad and remove that control from me immediately.
Interesting. That's a
And this
good
Iron
security.
King. This Iron King, what is his disposition like? Is he a person that may be able to be bargained with?
He chuckles and says, "Maybe. I wouldn't be so sure of that. A couple of years ago, the Prince of Alken upped and disappeared, eloped with the princess of another kingdom, if you can believe that. And the Iron King has since been one very, very sour customer, shall we say."
What other sort of arms and armor does the Iron King employ other than the standards and also the ironclads?
There's the ironclads. He's not above hiring mercenaries from time to time. There is, the actual personal army of the Iron King, which are the Alon Knights, and that's about it. Honestly, there was a rumor that he was preparing some type of other golem back when I was still there, but I don't think that ever came to fruition. There are, as far as I understood, there are other parts of the troops of Alchem, but they're currently displaced after the previous skirmish. You'll see a variety, shall we say. Think about it this way. The main core troops are in the Iron Keep and the surrounding vicinity, meaning the city of Alken. After that, the troops become a little bit more sparse, different, varied, less organized. It seems that ever since his curse and the disappearance of the prince and all of that, the orders of the Iron King have become sparse, so the troops are a little bit all over the place.
You seem to be incredibly eager to spill the secrets of your country despite the fact that you fought so hard to resist capture.
I have no allegiance to Alken anymore. I'm an outlaw, remember?
How long you been on the run?
A couple of years.
Well, you most likely will have the survival acumen to get yourself out of particular minds, as well as the fact that you are able to manipulate the forces of sorcery.
Hold on, you're still sending me to prison after this?
Well, let's see. You zapped us. You didn't come we gave you the option to come peacefully. You didn't. You got a bounty. Your bounty's worth up. Your bounty is alive, so So the folks back up at the fort probably gonna ask you some more questions.
He whispers.
And a genius like yourself should have no problem getting out of your chains if you truly are a master of manipulations of magic.
Can I at least have my ironclad back?
No,
It's useless to you. You're not gonna be able to control it.
We could take. Heck, might break it down and use it for scrap metal.
So on top
In
of
the-
taking all my stuff, you are still also sending me to prison and getting paid for it. I don't see how this deal has benefited me at all.
Well, you'll get.
Good question.
Well, you get a nice view, away from Alkin. Let's see. You have some nice amenities from the hospitality of the folks of Drangleic.
Well, then I think if this is how the deal's gonna be, I am just going to not answer any more questions if that's alright with you.
Perfectly fine with me. I have all of the information that I need now. Thank you for your cooperation.
He scoffs and just kind of leans back in the chair that he's sitting in.
Oh yeah, and I'm keeping an on to this because some people don't appreciate the value of good quality focuses.
What's it called? Atlas is going to. I forget. Do we tie him up? Like,
Yeah, we tied him up. We tied him up,
Okay.
shackled him, so he's not gonna be waving his hands to cast any spells at us.
Okay. What's it called?
Actually, no.
Uh.
Ace is gonna do one more thing just to keep certain, because she doesn't know if Mans knows any teleportation magic. She takes some rope, puts a gag on him. No verbal components, so Missy steps out of the question.
What's it called? Atlas will kind of like, stand up and, turn around and start like heading out, and we'll kind of like.
Before you head out,
Mhm.
AR.
They do stop.
Can we talk someplace else?
You made this interrogation incredibly annoying, and now you want to talk immediately afterwards.
Well, there's some. Well, you see Ace's hair start to build with smoke again, and she's got more so of for the first time since you see them, more of a assertiveness to her voice, like, well, I feel it pertinent given the jobs that we're gonna do later on, and stuff you had said. And Ace kind of takes AR out of earshot of Armor Dennis and says some stuff you said back when you caught Dennis. I got something else to say. I ain't gonna repeat myself.
Fine. But I will have to report to the Lady Knight first to tell her that the interrogation has accrued us great rewards.
Okay.
You can tell Scales that the results of the interrogation.
In that case.
Knock on my room.
Alright. In that case, let me switch to different music here. Before we continue with the conversation that Ace and AR could have here, cutting very quickly back to the rest of the party. By this point, Rock has showed up back at the inn. Valencia, Shieldbearer, Signis, Rock, you're basically all converging here in the Signis is still technically in the upper floor, but you're basically all converging here around the same time. While as Ace's and Atlas's conversation is roughly, going to the end, or at the very least, the interrogation is ending. I asked you guys, what are you guys wanting to do immediately after this? Rock says, I has returned, everyone. What has happened whilst I has been gone as mine autopsy of the giant has finished? Not long ago and just now gotten back. I have also gained useful information if they do plan on coming en masse.
Why did you Chinese?
It's not the intention,
rough
bro.
German.
It's like rough German. That's not the intention at all.
Yeah.
So he would arrive opening the indoors, basically saying that. Would Shieldbearer, Valencia, or Signis be around during this?
How long am I taking with the lessons of Fern?
I would say this is
Because
happening.
at some point, Shieldbearer would just say, "Hey, I noticed today's just not the day after everything that happened. I'm so sorry. Maybe we should just leave it to tomorrow."
You say that, then Fern kind of stares at you, tilts his head a little bit to the side, and just goes, "Very well, Sir Shieldbearer. I believe that if your mind is unfocused and wandering at the moment, then we may leave our lessons for another time. I apologize that I have not been able to be an appropriate instructor during this day."
Not at all. You are great. It's just us.
He nods and says, "I shall be at your disposal if you wish to pick up these lessons again at a later point."
Thank you. And I presume then Darkrock walks in, and you would see Fern walking away, Shieldbearer looking at him walk away, walks toward Valencia, and then sees Valencia and looks away. Just tries on.
I could hear the pain in Katya's voice with that.
Okay.
I hope you didn't bother Fern too much.
Wait, you saying that to me?
Yeah. If you vaguely approach Valencia.
He would say,
Bar fight.
"Unlike you, I wouldn't dare bother him." As he walks away.
What is that? She holds her tongue. She'll turn to Dr. Rock and ask, "What information have you acquired?"
Double Drive has no idea what's going on.
Valencia's just holding a strange smile.
Would you say, Rab, that Rock would be sharing, basically all his findings with the crew?
He'll make sure that he can hear Darkrock's and Valencia's conversation, but still stay at a distance.
Most interesting creatures I have ever examined. Masako, Clay's clearly trying to find the right words. Also, yes, for those who are listening to us right now, our Dr. Rock's player, Rab, is currently not available for voice. And so I'm trying to read the text chat at the moment. So we'll just would the rock like share all the information, or he conceal any of that? Do you believe, Rap?
If Dr. Rock is like clearly struggling to find the right words, Valencia would just say, like, it's alright if you want to talk about it later. Or you can write a report.
Actually, let's Signis all the way up in the fucking rafters. Not sure what other way to put them other... No, I'm just not sure what other way to put them other than interesting.
Interesting? In
I assume that
what way?
For one, they are flesh, stone, and plant, all in one.
Valencia blinks a couple times. Not sure how to respond to that.
That was my reaction when looking inside it.
Right. Well, let's tell your findings to the others then. They might have more insight.
Okay. Oh, I was typing. Not a way for everyone to be gathered since it will be easier to explain to the group. Okay.
Are Ace and Atlas still upstairs?
Well, Atlas is gonna go find Valencia first to like report, and then go to Ace.
Okay, so I guess Atlas in that case would come downstairs.
And,
Signis, I did read you were just about waiting for Atlas and Ace to finish up.
Yeah. Ace would walk out after Atlas.
Okay, so for the sake of convenience, we'll say that roughly, you guys would all roughly be within general same vicinity. As Atlas goes downstairs to look for Valencia, Ace walks a little bit behind Atlas, and Signis, you see that Atlas is going there, so I imagine you follow them.
Signis would actually just sort of say, Miss Ace, I do have something to discuss with you. Alone. If preferably.
Walker, it looks like Doc's back, and after some talks, after hearing what they gotta say about the giant, and doing some stuff. Okay, I still gotta get to work on your little project.
It
And see
concerns
if I
that,
can-
in fact.
Well, oh wait, that's right. I'm gonna have to go and find some of the locals, because I don't know my materials is all. And Ace just walks off.
Signis just sighs. Is Atlas out of earshot, or is he just still, or is Atlas still there?
Atlas is heading straight for Valencia.
So
I'm gonna guess out of earshot.
but relatively out of earshot.
I didn't want to say it in front of Atlas for a very specific reason. The reason why I divvied up the tasks was not because I doubt your skills. I had to make it appear that way, so I apologize if I insulted you.
Ace is like, her her hair and eyes are still billowing smoke, so you know she's still pissed. She's like, nah, not even go come back with no quips or nothing. Like, dang. Mm-mm-mm.
Signis just sort of like sighs. Like this isn't like the usual like sigh he does. This like seems like weary because like the day has just been sort of him doing a lot of planning and so on and so forth with the people of Fort Cardinal, etc. So he's just sort of like, and dealing with the party just sort of fucking in collapsing essentially. He's just gonna say, here's the thing. That weapon that I commissioned is to be used against Valencia, and I wanted to show her what unity could do, which is why I divvied up the tasks. It's a weapon made by multiple people, all raised against her. Thematic, if I say so myself. However, if Atlas were to know about this, there would be a fairly significant problem in the fact that I doubt that Atlas would have accepted.
You know, it's one thing insulting my own skills as a craftsman. It's another thing for beating around the dang bush for a commission job for some pyro theatrics. I'm still making your sword, cause I don't go back on jobs unless, of course, it's dire straits. Next time, just come clean. We want to do something like this. And Ace just walks down with the rest of the group to hear Doc Rock's explanation.
So I guess follows along because Doc Rock.
Okay. Just to clarify, Shield Bear, would you still be within the relatively like near vicinity of the party, or?
Yeah, like I said, he would have been within earshot and listening in. Just probably if people are like on this table, he would sit here.
Opposite sides of a table.
No, just the table besides it.
Yeah.
And then the opposite side.
Not sitting with the cool kids at the table. Okay. In that case, yes, everybody would be gathered here. Rock goes into the explanation. Ezra would give an explanation of his findings in about the giant, the iron bones, the stone-like skin, the plant organs, and most notably, that if they did invade, then the lack of a digestive system means that they don't need to stop and eat at all. Also showing the diagrams of the giants, their anatomy, from all the examinations that he did, and he also notes the transformation that they seem to go post-mortem, transforming to some form of plant or tree-like organism, such as its organs sprouting outwards.
Signis has experience with like eldritch creatures and beasts. Could he like compare it in any sort of way to anything he's encountered?
This is just a guy. Like a fucked up guy, but
like, I'm going to go ahead and say that the most you'd be able. Roll me a history check. I think that's what I'm going to ask you to do.
I'm gonna roll shit. I knew it.
You considering from where you come from, Signis, from Yarnam, the most you'd be able to hear was like, experiments that took place in the past of like people being, turned into other things. Rumor has it that the previous principal of of the Academy of Vangurad turned into a living mushroom, though nobody can confirm that particular rumor. It's a whole bunch of speculation, extrapolation, he says, she said type of stuff. But that is with active intervention. You've never heard of something like this before. Like a seemingly natural occurring process.
If they don't consume food, what would they be using for energy? Signis would just like sort of ponder about it for a moment. And he's not really talking to anybody, he's just thinking to himself.
Magic, apparently.
Magic, it works very fairly strangely. It's different and from a case-by-case basis. I can only assume that it's either or they're inherently magical creatures, which, let me check. Can Signis actually do like an arcana or something to see if the parts are innately magical?
Fucking would he be fucking able to? He doesn't have access to the corpse.
Yeah,
No, the parts that Rock has brought.
Well, he only brought a tissue sample and like a little bit of the cuttings from the organ sprout. I'm gonna say.
I feel like you need like an alchemy fucking kit to test that.
This
shit.
is gonna.
I don't
I'm
think...
gonna say this is a disadvantage because you don't have access to the course. You just have access to samples.
Would it be a straight roll if I cast Detect Magic?
I'm gonna say no because it doesn't ping with Detect Magic.
Dang.
I mean, do you believe he'd be studied enough in plants for that?
I mean,
That
he
is a
did
14.
research a lot of things.
Yeah, with like plants for different poisons and antidotes, so maybe he knows a bit of botany.
Okay, so
Dang, no splash of genius.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Fair enough.
Going like one by one here. Also, party drama is like reality TV. Thank you, Connor. So first of all, the 14 with the Arcana. Signis, you believe there is a chance that they could be innately magical creatures. Obviously your knowledge of magic is a little bit different from everybody else's, because magic, as it were, in the Bloodborne world is mostly brought about by insight and knowledge of the cosmos and stuff like that. The magic, as it were, that these creatures could be presenting, it could be something very specific to their kind. With the idea, with the knowledge that maybe like Shield Bear could possess, or Rock or Ace. I would say, despite the general like medieval look of of the Dark Souls world, I think people know enough about science that they would understand how plants work.
Yeah.
You believe that the how do I word this? You believe that what is happening here, based on what you were told by by Rock, is that the body of the giant seems to go, be going through this process where it's effectively, very literally turning into like a plant or a tree of sorts through a similar process of photosynthesis, using its own I'll leave the explanation there. If you want any more information, you can try to do like a intelligence check to see if you can extrapolate what that could mean.
Damn, it's not my day.
Ace is gonna try, maybe.
Nature? Sure. Well, nature could work, I guess, as well. Shilbear, are you proficient in nature?
Let me check. No, it's a
Okay.
5-4.
So that would
but
still
I
be that would
don't
still be a 5.
I think can Signis like sort of like pool together like his knowledge and such and just give bardic inspo for this?
I mean, you can give our information to somebody else. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's from what he learned, etc. He's just gonna role. I'm gonna role play that as like him like possibly like passing on the knowledge to be like, okay, maybe it's this. It's like from like the whole magic thing. So he's just bringing a little bit of extra to the table. So he's gonna bardic inspo rock.
Now, do you want to use your bardic inspiration rock for that 13? Oh, that's alright, Moraine. I believe it's a D6 because you're not that high levels in bard yet.
Yeah, but I am a level 3 bard.
So D6. 15.
That is a 15.
Is anybody else gonna roll before I describe what Rock could figure out?
Yeah, I'll roll
Go ahead.
a straight up intelligence.
Well, intelligence or nature. I
Holy
guess.
shit.
So okay. So this is gonna be a little bit difficult because what you believe, both you, Ace, and Rock, that is taking place here, is a process that is as much natural as it is magical. The giant's body seem to be having this innate organic or biological structure that allows their body to continue operating even after death. Not in the sense that they can still move and do stuff, but rather that their body goes through like a metastasis of sorts, that allows them to effectively go from a living creature to this sort of like plant-like growth, effectively being a not really like a rebirth process, Rock, I would say. It's more like a way for their body to become part of the natural cycle of nature, so to speak. In fact, Rock, you have in your hands the evidence of such cycle of process. I want you you recall that way back at the start of the campaign, you got yourself a weird ass looking like seed in as a gift from the Firekeepers. You remember that the look of this seed, it looks very much like the head of one of the giants, like this sort of like concave, sort of like oval shaped object with like the little like crevice, like the indentation in it.
And thankfully, being a bird, you resisted the urge to just eat it.
So you believe, and Ace, you can sort of corroborate this as you cannot draw your own conclusions as well. That this process of the giant dying and then turning into this sort of like tree-like creature, or not creature, tree-like structure, does eventually give way to this seed that could maybe in time grow another giant. Though that would be more in the realm of extrapolation, you believe. You don't have any evidence to back up this theory.
It might just
do they
be
like relay this?
You both talk at the same time.
You go first.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you relay this to the party?
I mean, he is relay. It's in the chat.
Yeah, he's relaying this to the party, I believe.
I see.
Miss Ace, does Zine remember the seed that I gave Zine from when we receive our items?
Yeah, the weird. Oh, yeah. Now that I think about it, it did look. The giant's head did look like that weird seed. Wait.
Also, what were you gonna say, Jericho?
No, I was just gonna make like a dumb joke. It's fine.
Make your dumb joke.
Make the dumb joke. We want to laugh.
Make the joke.
It's fine.
Nah, let's just continue.
Make
Okay,
the
well,
joke.
you can type in the chat if you
Yeah,
want to.
fair enough.
I think that the giants turn into seed or fruit bearing trees when they die. Fruit bearing trees.
Oh. We may need to go burn that body.
Well, maybe just not put it on dirt. Maybe like put it on like something made of metal. Put it on like maybe like stone slabs or something, or
I well, that makes sense, but at the same time, I worry because I've seen potatoes grow. Those things are terrifying.
The organs seem to spread like when one leaves a potato in the cabinet too long.
Oh, then we're definitely gonna want to burn that.
well,
It doesn't need soil.
why not prune it or something?
I do not like to say I told you so. Actually, I do. I told you so.
Well, whoop-dee-doo. You told us so.
Wait, what? It told us so in terms of what?
The whole burn away thing.
Yeah.
Article 18 of Laboth Military Regulations. Cremate to avoid propagation.
Propagation. You actually hear Ace actually say it as well. It's like, yeah, they've picked up some of the articles.
Yeah, Signis is gonna look at AR. I'm going to have to agree with Atlas on this one. I've dealt with things that don't particularly die when they are, well,
Killed.
stabbed and such. So fire
You
is
have
usually
the
the best
You
option.
have the perfect opportunity to make the joke, bro. You had the perfect opportunity to make the
I
joke.
had the perfect opportunity. But I didn't want to. Okay, fine. They don't tend to die when they're killed. Quotation marks. Erx does like the little two fingers thing. So usually the way to handle them is burn them till nothing's left. I say this is one of those cases.
Also, Rock has been saying the order was very intent upon the coast being left intact as much as possible for the presentation.
We can burn it after the presentation.
This is why I was only able to procure cuttings rather than sun organs. At this point, I'll say the three retainers are also here. Gwenald, Cersei, Fern. Gwenald will kind of speak up and will say, "All right, this is all pretty dreadful and all of that good stuff, or bad stuff rather. But what does that mean for us in this case? I mean, like, are we gonna be joining the war effort? Getting ready to fight the giants, or what does that mean for all of us, as a group?"
Honestly, it may be wise to put it up to a vote. I personally think that we should handle all defenses at Medulla, but I don't know what the others think.
I was originally for the plan of reinforcing Medulla, and I, in fact, would, in an ideal world, prioritize their safety. In fact, I hope that we still can, considering the regiment is being sent there. However, considering the studies that the doctor has tested, this might be a new form of propagation. Not the swarm, of course, but if they can multiply endlessly after death, after even being destroyed, in whatever form they take, I do not wish to see this land blotted out into a dark pit of nothingness.
We could send messengers, but then there's the danger of possibly the message not arriving due to bandits.
Did they already ship out the giant, or is it still at the fort?
It's only been a few hours, so I can only assume. Still at the fort.
Yeah, these sessions only last a few hours.
I
I
imagine
keep forgetting that.
Go ahead.
I imagine King Vendrick will want to mobilize every knight and soldier if there's an invasion force coming. Therefore, as much as it pains me to do so, I would suggest we move to the capital.
The Emerald Herald did send us out to get stronger. I do not think we can save this land if we just sit around in our village all day. We have appropriate soldiers and supplies for farms sent their way. The best we can do is now move to the capital.
Fern speaks up and says, then again, let us not forget that, well, we did kind of left Majula in a bit of a hurry. I believe there was still quite a bit left unexplored. We may have gotten the people out of the hole, as it were, or, well, you all got them out of the hole. But, well, we have only done the bare minimum to ensure their continued existence, as it were.
I have a proposition, perhaps. We stop by Medulla to drop off the supplies and maybe do very short amounts of assisting with setting up the garrison or a regiment that has been sent in there to fortify, and then we set off for the Drangleic capital soon after that. 2 or 3 days at most.
Also, Rock has been saying, I am not much of a soldier, but I am willing to produce medical aid for those that need it. It would be nice a change of pace to engage in the act of healing rather than poisoning. And he also said, well, we have one of the seeds I can perform on examination to see if it is fertile or merely a product.
Would you be able to perform this examination at Majula?
And how safe is this examination?
As long as I have mind tools, I can perform it anywhere, but preferably in a controlled and clean environment. I'll say while you're writing that, Rock, Cersei will say, so it seems that there's good reasons to go either direction, apparently. I think at the end, if you all wish to put this up for a vote, then I believe as a separate party, us three shall abstain from participating in said voting. Kind of gesturing at Gwenald Fern herself. She says, We follow your lead, of course. She says that her eyes do kind of like center on Valencia when she says that, but she does look at the rest of you guys, at that.
Signis is gonna cross his arms and look at both Ace and Shieldbearer and say, "What are your thoughts? I understand that you opted to go and explore Shieldbearer, but but what about my proposition?" Silence.
Like,
So,
Ace, I'm sure. Like, yeah, what's Shieldbearer thinking?
Shieldbearer would say, I'm fine dropping by Majula for a few days. We just don't have the time to linger. No matter how much it saddens me.
What's it called? Atlas will kind of say,
I do not have a problem with detouring to Majula, as long as we are able to continue being productive while there. Shieldbearer is correct. We cannot afford to waste time. But if the doctor is confident that he can procure the necessary time and preparation to analyze this seed, and we can work on defenses in the meantime, I see this as an opportunity to get things done before setting out for the capital.
In that case, out of
Indeed.
character, just to solidify this, so we have it, in writing, so to speak. I want you guys to, in the chat, enroll to the chat, type 1 if you want to go straight to the capital, type 2 if you want to take the detour.
yeah. Unanimous decision.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous decision.
I think that's a first.
Also,
Yeah.
Also, I don't know where the H in Majula is coming from here. It doesn't have an H.
Oh wait, does it not have a H?
Yeah, it does not have an H.
No, it's just a A.
I just copy pasted it.
I've been spelling with I've been spelling it with an H the entire time. Nobody told me anything.
I didn't catch it
didn't-
until now, I'm gonna be honest.
You think I can read and write?
Dang. Dang.
Okay. I guess, the way this looks like is that, everybody... go ahead, sorry?
I think no, I was gonna say, like, I think Atlas probably like produces like little strips of paper and like things to write it on, so we can put them face down and then turn them upside down at the same time. Basically.
Very smooth A4 paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think this freaks up some people,
no.
but
You know what would be really funny? It just comes out of like a slot in their arm or their chest
Oh no,
piece,
it
like a
does.
printer.
Not in their arm, in their chest.
Just like a fucking printer.
Wait, is it like is it like you said A4 paper? Is it
Yeah,
like
it's
the
not
friggin-
parchment. It is A4 printer paper. From a sci-fi world, it's just A4 printer paper. It's incredibly stark white, perfectly laminated, and perfectly flat, straight, even sides. This is the fanciest paper anyone has ever fucking seen.
I think it's a little bit fancier than what Ace has seen, because she's seen like print and press paper, but not like fax, like fax machines.
I mean, hey.
Yeah, Atlas will just put it down, slice them into strips and just say everyone put, write your answers on these sheets of paper.
Okay.
I just imagine while we all speak the same language, it's different. It's different. It's different fucking dialects and what's it called? And writing styles. So Atlas is gonna look at one of them and be like, I have no idea what this means.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Translated.
Wait, what is
Only
it? What is
Atlas
it?
has the capability to translate the text.
That is true, and also not only that, Honkai Star Rail uses a different alphabet system.
God damn.
They don't use the Roman alphabet.
Okay. Well,
So
thankfully.
literally everybody's just gonna be like pulling up the paper, flipping it over, and it's just gonna be gibberish for everybody else.
Well,
I believe.
Atlas would notice. Atlas would notice, like, friggin' Ace writes in cursive, actually.
Also, thank you for the honesty
Yeah, but it's a
on the chat,
different
Connor.
fucking
Uh,
different fucking alphabet.
What do they say in the chat?
They would have voted 1 just to be different. Thank you for the honesty. Okay, so in that case, you guys, you'll have unanimously decided that you would take the detour back to Majula. In that case, the 3 retainers, Fern, Cersei, Gwenalt. Well, Fern actually stands up and he says, "Then shall we deliver the 2 prisoners to the fort nearby?"
Yep.
Yes, we shall.
The interrogation was a success. We have learned of the various materials that we are able to procure. We have learned that the entrance to the capital of Alkin is incredibly well guarded with a variety of different ironclads, those so-called golems that we came across, as well as the fact that the Iron King seems to be in a sort of sorrowful stupor and may be difficult to negotiate with unless we have prior bargain chips.
You know I've
Also-
traveled to Oaken, right?
Oh yeah, you have. So we do have someone who could vouch for us at least. Also,
What exactly is the reason for the stupor?
his son apparently, rumor has it, went and got hitched, eloped, snuck out, eloped, or something.
To kind of
that
clarify,
effect,
to just clarify the timeline, at least the way that Dennis would have phrased it. The way it went is that, Alkin, whatever, Prince was there. There was the neighboring kingdom of Ven. He eloped with the Princess of Ven. And then soon after, the kingdom of Ven fell. Drangleic took over the land, that segment of the land that should have rightfully belonged to Alkin when the kingdom fell. And, that's kind of where, we're at the moment here.
Signis is going to look between them and say, "There is a possibility that we could get a bargaining chip. However, it would need lots of details." As you see Signis fishes the white mask out of his coat, which you guys would know is the one that allows him to change his appearance.
Well,
Here's fuck, dude.
Cersei looks at you and says, "Mr. Signis."
Here's the thing: I don't think Cersei knows about that one in specific.
Oh, okay. I thought you had used it in her presence for some reason.
He hasn't used it in front of Cersei. He's used it with Valencia. He's used it with Atlas and the rest of the party, but not the retainers.
Okay, wait. So because I didn't exactly remember like Atlas seeing that, but if Atlas has said that, Atlas will say
No!
that's a good way of getting yourself strung up.
So,
That is a good way of opening traumatic wounds in someone, and in fact, this could most likely be counted as a psychological attack.
so just so I got the implication that you were trying to go for here, Nathan.
Yeah.
You were trying to imply that Signis could pretend to be the lost prince of Alkin to return to the country?
Yes. Yes, I was, which is kind of fucked up, but at the same time, I think it kind of makes sense. Because I do want to show the fact that Signis is a little bit fucking unhinged.
I mean, what do you even know of the prince?
I need to know his appearance, I need to know how he acts, I need to know his voice. All in all, probably more information than we have at the moment.
So, no.
With
Yeah.
all due respect, Alkan already won't be taken kindly to me. Gestures at her, like, Drangleic badge or whatever.
To be
Why
fair,
not?
I think most places don't take too kindly to me either.
And you could take that off.
Valencia just gestures at, like, her wings, her tail.
Also, probably
I'm pretty
Drangleic
iconic,
make
you know.
armor.
What about that ring you got? You could disguise yourself again.
Also, Jericho, you're trying to put like an image in the chat, but I think Roll20 is having issues because I just got time out of the server like a moment ago. I think it is Roll20 messing up.
Understood.
Yeah. What image are you trying to send?
Just chuck it in the VC!
Are you suggesting a Knight of Drangleic disguises themselves to infiltrate a kingdom which had a war previously?
I'm suggesting a Knight of Drangleic doesn't go traipsing through a kingdom that was previously at war and saying, "Hey, how's it going?" When we're just here to check around, and you expect them not to haul you off to the dungeon or string you up.
Exactly. Let's not go there then.
We could always play the angle of convicted felon seeking harbor.
That
The
is true.
armorer did state that while the borders between Alkin and Drangleic were incredibly tense, as soon as we got through there, we would be able to walk freely amongst the populace and domain of Alkin regardless. The capital seems to be the main problem of security, but the way he phrased it seemed like even the citizens of Alkin have a hard time getting an audience with the king without having to deal with the defenses.
Also, once you're further out from the capital, it's mostly just mercenaries and other than the regular troops. So maybe it's a bit easier to sneak for the sneaking by option.
And I know a shortcut here and there.
Okay.
We'll have to think about this. We'll have to think about Alkin later, I think. It may be wise for us to focus on just Drangleic for the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So, just to kind of clarify one thing here. What is going to be the plan for the rest of the day here? Because, well, I'll say at this point, a couple of hours have already passed. It's a little bit past afternoon at this point. So if I understood things, you're just going to deliver Dennis and Alphys to Fort Cardinal, then turning for the night, and then head out to Majula in the morning?
As I see it, we need to turn in Alphys and Dennis. Ace still needs to have their roleplay with AR, and Super still needs to have their roleplay with AR.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Valencia does also want to do Signis. Signis is talking about like venturing out to Alkan and everything, and Valencia's like also just kind of like staring at him like, "What do you mean you're going Alkan?"
We're never going to leave for Cardinal Town, yo. Another fucking session, yo.
Look, Vorty!
To be fair, Atlas would rather
always
not
stay in
talk to Ace.
We always say in the friggin' what's it called? The not the starting town, but like the sort of secondary hub.
Listen, we also still need to have our fight between Signis and Valencia at some point.
I mean, that's what Katya said already.
Yeah.
And then,
It is what it is
There
at
we
the
go.
end of the day.
Oh man.
Yeah,
And depending on how Schubert-
Signis is trying to also prepare to not get fucking annihilated by the paladin fighter that he's
Also-
fighting.
What were you saying, Marine? Depending on how things go.
and depending how things go between Schubert and Valencia, that might end up in another fight as well.
Motherfucker.
Okay,
Really
how about this?
We're just going, alright, let's get the
Hold up,
1v1s out
hold
of our
up.
Also,
system
yeah,
right
Nathan,
now.
Katya
One
was
second,
trying to
yeah, 1
talk.
second, Nathan. What were you saying, Katya?
Like, this can just like happen, just like out of session. Like Valencia and Signis agree that they will duel in Majula, and then depending on how said duel goes, we're heading to the capital either way. So either Valencia
Yes.
turns Signis in, or she doesn't when she does that.
What's it
When we
called?
go there.
Speaking of the duel, very quickly, Atlas will go up to Signis and just say,
It will be impossible to get vanadium.
and walk away.
Okay. Oh,
Wait.
man.
Ace acts like friggin' Atlas, like, describe that. Like, describe the steel exactly.
Atlas will like stare at you for like a little bit and just say,
0.5% carbon, 0.9% manganese, 0.3% silicon, 0.8% chromium, 0.18% vanadium. Rest high-speed steel.
Aside from, like, vanadium and friggin'... When you hear chrome, magnesium, iron,
manganese.
manganese, what, just chrome? That's what they make that's what they make the silver, that's what the friggin' Sterling Company used to make the silver deputies. You could have just said it was chrome.
Gwynalt looks over at the two of you and just goes, I'm lost.
Oh, different names for different metals.
I'm also lost, Gwynalt.
Hey, bring it in. He kind of puts like a fist bump over to you, Valencia.
What's it called? Like, like, Atlas will just say,
Chromium, not chrome. Separate products. Derivative of each other, perhaps.
It still makes the same thing. It's a harder steel. It's tricky to process unless you have high heat pressure.
Cersei clears her throat. Can
Oh,
we
right,
focus?
Oh, right. So what exact? So we
It appears you have all reached the conclusion that we shall return to Majula post-haste after delivering the two criminals
All
that we
right.
have apprehended. I would suggest that we depart tomorrow morning at the earliest convenience.
Yes. And while we're turning in these
I think
two, we
Signis
also
would
need
point
to...
out-
Hold on, Nathan.
hold up.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
We
Mark.
also
I only
need to
just-
inform the castle about the giant,
Yeah.
how it might see it.
Then, let us expedite the process, says Cersei. I will deliver that news to the individuals at the fort. Gwynalt and Fern shall transport the two prisoners. And, well, that just leaves you all to deal with the personal matters that you may have with each other.
Ace says to Fern and Gwen, make sure that gag doesn't fall out of his mouth. Otherwise, any sort of spells he has that don't require him waving his hands is going to be a little bit tricky. You to catch him again.
Gwenald kind of gives you like a sort of like half-hearted like military salute, and Fern just nods and says, "We shall make sure that their bindings are not removed until they're already well within custody."
Schubert looks at the both of them and he says, "The man in there has done me great harm. I trust the both of you to take him and get him imprisoned.
Gwenald looks at you.
Please, whatever happened, just inform me as soon as possible."
Gwenald looks at you, Shilbearer, and goes, "Want me to, kinda does like fist over hand, type of like gesture."
You see Schubert pause a bit when he's clearly looking a bit up, as in listening to Shield Basher, and he's like, "No."
I mean, I know he's an old man and everything, but I'm just saying.
I appreciate everything you want to do for me, Colonel, but we decided on the fact that he needs to face punishment through law, not through violence.
Alright then. He shrugs. Alright, so Fern, Cersei, and Gwenol are gonna be the ones delivering the news to for Colonel, as well as transporting Dennis and Alphys over there. I will say they will also deliver to you the reward for Dennis eventually once they're done. Once they're done, dealing with that, as well as the reward for the quest of investigating the figure in the woods, which is the one related to Alphys.
Yeah.
Which, what did I say was the money for those two?
650 gold for armor Dennis captured alive. For the job board figure in the woods, 200 gold pieces for information on the hunt figure that escaped sight, and if they are a threat or not a threat.
We're gonna up that to 350 because they turned out to be a figure of interest, and so that would be a total of how much? 900.
Ooh.
No,
Yeah,
650 plus 350 is
Oh,
1,000, right?
my bad.
Yes.
My bad. Yes, 1,000. So that would be a total of 1,000.
Every single time I do math correctly, I get gaslit. It's not just a you thing; it's an everything thing. All of you, none of you want me to fucking.
Hey,
The moment you do math, everybody's just like, that can't be right.
So
no,
yeah.
because I was double checking as well, but yeah, it is 1,000 gold.
Yeah, so in that case, yeah, I'll say they will be able to bring back the 1,000 gold pieces for you guys to split among themselves. You might as well add it to your inventory now, in case that we don't forget. But while they're doing that, and they are getting ready to deliver this news, deliver the two prisoners that, you see Gwenald and Fern kind of walk upstairs, come back down with Alphys and Dennis. Dennis is giving y'all the fucking death glare he's brought out, and Alphys is just his head is just looking downwards basically the entire way until he passes by you, Shieldbearer, and he just looks over at you, but still his head kind of angled a little bit downwards, and Alphys looks over and says, "I hope you have a better life."
Gilbert says, "I hope that after all this, you somehow learn to forgive yourself.
He doesn't reply to that verbally. He just kind of lowers his head again. And you see that he does kind of like bite his lip at some point. Not enough that he ends up bleeding for it, but you know, just kind of general frustration, it seems. And eventually Alphys and Dennis are taken away by the retainers. So, now we're getting to another interaction here. So you guys said Valence and Signis were going to do something, as well as Shieldbearer and hold on. Remind me again who were all the ones talking?
Valencia and Signis, Shieldbearer and Atlas, and then wait, no, Ace and Atlas, then it's Shieldbearer and Atlas, right?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, because Shieldbearer also wanted to talk to Atlas.
You know,
as
maybe
well.
we should make it a rule that whenever somebody tries to write out a list, they should like fucking type it out.
Yeah, so type it out so that we know it's in writing and I don't forget, because also, yeah, I might not want to have gas around the fire gymnastic, Connor, you're right. So yeah, just type this out so we can have it in writing. Ace and Atlas, Signis Valencia, Atlas Shieldbearer. Okay, so that's 3.
We can go in any order. Just really depends on who wants to go first, I guess.
Yeah, Ace was like, "Ayo, this is pertinent. This is gonna be quick." Towards Atlas because she wanted to get something straight with them. And
All right.
sidebar.
If it's gonna be straight and quick, you know, like Atlas is gonna just like, you know, go to the side with Ace then.
Okay, so Ace, you pull Atlas to the side. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Command for the art. It's mainly like this large like primary floor with a couple of like side rooms and then like the stairs that lead to the upper floor. So I would say that you're able to pull Atlas over to one of the like side rooms here from the main floor.
Okay. All right. So, when you had mentioned way back when we caught Dennis, mentioned Shieldbearer how none of us saw thousands die in front of us, or no, the scene suffering. Here's the thing. I have. I have experienced suffering. Okay. Me and my folks who lived in a quiet little town, 3 days from any major city. My pa was a fine blacksmith around, taught me everything I knew. We lived outside jurisdiction of what would pass for the law of the land. Old Sterling Company. So, towns on the outskirts of most places who couldn't get help and didn't have any sheriffs or deputies. Only had to look for other means of protection. All the monsters and bastard bits roaming around. A gang came in, offering protection. That protection turned into extortion. And when folks got tired of being used for everything they got, and decided they had enough with tyranny. Well, our so-called protectors, the goddamn Hellspurs gang, them and their boss, dragging the cool down repented. They torched the town. No, most folks, they came in with pitchforks and thousands or so people coming in with pitchforks, shovels, maybe a couple of guns. I saw my mom tried her best to keep me and my little sister and them safe. She didn't make it. And the worst part was, me, my sister, and my pa were the only ones left. And when he was trying to keep us safe in the shelter, in the old storm cellar underneath the shop, he got hit with some real nasty venom. The kind of from him, old or cool, either kills you on the spot, if you're lucky, but in most cases, you're racked with the worst pain imaginable. Ain't no cure or antidote or antitoxin. Heck, clerics and doctors from other planes couldn't even figure out heads or tails how to cure them. And let's just... So... if you ever think none of us had to deal with any suffering just because we ain't soldiers or knights or what have you, there's a human emotion that's called empathy. Learn it, so keep that in mind.
I had already apologized to Shieldbearer for the words that I said in the heat of the moment. They were untowards, and I do duly apologize to you for that. However, I have one thing to ask. Based on this experience, I would imagine that after you gained a strong distaste for the idea of such lives being extinguished in a moment, I would imagine that you would spend your entire life wanting to prevent anything like that from happening to any group of people ever again.
Yeah.
Then why do you not act like it?
First thing we did, like anybody would, we went to Sterling Company, over in Omenport, and and their headquarters up in Prosperity. They couldn't give a buffalo's behind some folks from out of town. That's why I don't care. They were too busy lining their own pockets and not wanting to uphold their so-called justice. Why I don't.
why I try my best to help folks. And months were away. When I joined up with my gang, sticking it to the so-called lawmen, men who traipse around thinking they got law, but their ideas of law and order, which are really nothing but old tyrannical blowhards, and actually doing something to help people. You may not think I'm gung-ho with following rules.
The rules are not what I am talking about. You walk around with this laissez-faire attitude. You attempt to go around making conversation and asking about all these fun little materials and side quests that you're looking for. Throwing parties, trying to set aside celebrations and games when people could be dying. Say what you will about me and my methods. I know that I am at fault. I have admitted to you as such. But I am also trying to move as fast as possible, all the time, as much as possible, because I do not want to see genocide again and again and again. There is a human emotion called focus, discipline, urgency. Perhaps you should take the time to learn it.
Well, there's one thing left. The reason why I do what I do. One thing my pa told me before. Hold on to hope. Because even though the world can be a harsh place, brightening, it's always a bit of comfort, jetting some light back into it.
Article 19 of Glamoth Military Regulations. Faith will be rewarded with prosperity for all. Her Majesty's hope is undying. I was told something similar. And I understand the need for optimism. However, there is a time and place. I did not step in when you tried to increase morale and give this town a feeling of security. It is important to make sure that there is no panic, that there is no fear, that people can live their lives in an unburdened fashion if they are not to be throwing themselves into the flames of war. However, you have chosen to throw yourself in harm's way to protect the people. Have you not?
Yeah.
There is a time and a place. And I have allowed you to have your time and your place. But you need to keep that in mind. I do apologize for the words that I have said that have offended and you and the people that you have lost. It is a truly horrible experience to grieve en masse. I understand that. I, at the very least, need to keep on moving.
Folks grieve in different ways. And then Ace just walks off.
I mean, hey, maybe that's the tool that we're missing. Ace and
Yeah.
Ace is gonna get absolutely fucking ground pounded.
Farming the company champions. All right. It is around the time where this conversation is taking place that we cut to one of our other conversations. That the one that takes place between, well, two people who couldn't be in more directly opposite positions of power. Valencia and Signis. What are you guys up to here?
Honestly, I just assume Signis is like leisurely sitting somewhere, and Valencia approaches him.
I mean, would Valencia be the one to approach Signis?
Signis has no reason to approach.
Well, yeah, but I want to hear the answer from Katya. Is Katya here?
I realized I was muted this whole time.
Okay. Well,
I just said Valencia hasn't got a reason to approach Signis. Like, we haven't got any... We didn't plan any RP, did we?
You said that at Valencia wanted to talk to Signis.
No, she didn't. When?
She said that earlier. She said she wanted to, like, was it somebody else? Did I miss?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't talking to Signis. She was staring at him and saying, like, "You motherfucker! Like, why aren't you going? Like, you know, what the fuck are you doing?" Like, she looked like she was like, staring him down. But
oh, okay, then, and Signis would just sort of like walk up and sit down on, like, probably not too far away.
Is Signis gonna start a conversation? Valencia isn't gonna say anything.
No, Signis is just gonna say anything you wish to say. It seemed like you had something on your mind earlier.
The way you talk about Arkan, you seem pretty confident that you're gonna continue adventuring with us.
Signis sort of like chuckles and says, "Please, even if there was the well, let's say it like this: even if you eventually did, if you won the duel, even if you turned me in, well, it can't really be assumed that those chains would hold me, after all."
I guess that's true. That's
Signis
one way to
just
get
like
bounty increased.
Signis sort of just shrugs his shoulders, and says, "True, but at the same time, I'm a man of many faces." You just see as like he like moves his hand across like his face, and you watch as like his outfit literally changes to like the Jeremiah outfit. And then he says, "Many voices," and then you see as he does it again, but this time you see that his hair has grown longer, and noticeably he looks more feminine, and he said, and you hear like a noticeable pitch increase in his voice as Signis literally just becomes like a woman for a second, as he says, as many names, aims, and as he like fucking does the hand thing again, and many talents, and says he like returns back to his like usual, like his current disguise actually, because he's not wearing his usual purple outfit.
Unless you plan on staying in disguise for the rest of your life, I can't associate myself with you.
Signis sort of like laughs and says, "Please, all of these masks are equally me. All of these masks are, all of these disguises are equally me. In the end, it just depends on how I decide to look. So if needed, I can take another form, take on another outfit. Change of costume, change of venue. Ooh, the actor takes another role on the stage."
Valency just stares at you, kinda annoyed.
So, in the end, I doubt it matters. But you see, as he you can't really, you can sort of tell like his voice pitches down, like to be more serious. Do you know why I decided to not challenge your leadership at first?
Well, that's because I'm a Knight of Drangleic.
Signis
Naturally.
shakes his head. Ed, I've never had quite a lot of respect for authority. Ever since my parents were killed by nobles, I particularly do not have quite the elegant view of the aristocracy. I don't mind the government. I will bend the rules where needed to get what I want. But in the face of a authority given through aristocracy, you wouldn't have been able to command me. So take another guess, or would you like me to answer?
You enlighten me.
Well, this is gonna be a bit of a story. As he begins pulling like a few cards out of his sleeve and shuffling them, you see like shape, like there's like figures and shapes across the cards as like he like shuffles it between his hands. Well, after my parents' demise, I was left with both my sisters. As you see, as he shuffles it again, snaps his fingers, and like the entire pack of cards like turns into like a little flame that like starts like flickering around. You remind me of one of them. Your pride, your pride, your haughtiness is your great demand. Your many flaws. Your many what you are.
Is this an attempt to
so-
emotionally appeal to me?
You can think of it like that, but it is the truth. I simply am interested in where your journey goes. A man like me is only getting older. The newer generation will step up eventually.
Is that it?
Also, I find this group amusing, and as much as he like looks around, as much as we bicker and butt heads, I quite enjoy your company. So, if you're talking about maybe about me and not being able to travel with you, well, there is one thing for certain. Even if I'm not truly traveling with you, I think I'll follow along just for the entertainment. Watching. After all, nothing. After all, nothing matters, unless nothing truly matters. So why concern yourselves with things that don't matter to you? No?
Quite a lot of things matter to me. I'll have you know.
Yes. Then I assume such things like justice matter to you. A lot considering, well, you want to be an honorary knight, a great leader, or this inspiring figure who leads this pack of brigands to go on a great journey for your kingdom. But do you know something? Not everything's quite as it seems. Think. Look closely and decide for yourself. Never take anything at face value.
Considering the bounty in your head, I don't think I should be listening to your advice.
Signis sort of laughs.
Unless I end up
just
like
says,
you.
Signis sort of laughs and says, fair. But in the end, the way you decided to settle things is with a duel. So when there are less eyes around, and when everything is sufficiently ready, then we can let the results speak for themselves.
I will let the duel speak for me, because I know it works.
I hate the fact that she's right. Out of character, I hate the fact that she's right. Because so far, the duels have fucking fixed the problems in this goddamn party.
I'm not sure what makes you think I'm some naive knight.
Signis tilts his head, like the mask he's still got a mask on, so like it's still so it's like a little bit uncanny. And he says,
I've served this kingdom for years. So did my family.
Yes, that may be true. But sometimes, that's not. Sometimes. Okay, give me a second. I need to collect my thoughts.
Well, what do you think the angle that Signis is trying to go for here? Maybe that helps you.
He's trying to say like, hey, the fact that you've been loyal for this long doesn't mean that your loyalty's quite in the right place. Even if you've been like a very, like, he's trying to be like very cryptic about it too, so it's not gonna be like him stating this outright. It's just like, hey, you have your families may have served this country for a while, but like you don't you don't really know everything about every noble. You can't assume everyone's intentions. You can't assume everyone has the people's great interest, the better interest in mind. They don't. Not everybody's going to have a sense of justice, honor, or etc. He's trying to say. He's not trying. He's also trying to say, be a little bit smug and say, "Hey, you're naive for just thinking that you aren't naive."
Then maybe he just kind of says that as is, just says, hey, there's you serve this kingdom, but there's a lot of people who serve themselves in the kingdom.
Yeah, so
and
it would
thinking
be
that you know better doesn't make you better than those who don't, right? Maybe he goes that particular
Yeah, that's
route.
probably the best way he would. I think that's the best way it could be worded.
Valencia will bite back with, let me tell you a bit about my past, since you shared me about yours. My family, my parents, before they came here to Drangleic, do you know what they were?
Go on, enlighten me.
Marauding dragons. Horrible monsters. Burning down villages. Killing anyone in sight. It was not up until a group of knights enlightened them that they became, well, what do you see here? Half-dragons fighting for justice.
How long ago was this? May I ask?
It was 40 or so years ago.
Signis sort of chuckles. It is a new age. There are new people. You cannot expect for the new generation to hold the same integrity as the ones that came before. The descendants of these same knights may very well be something else entirely from their predecessors.
Someone needs to uphold this integrity.
Signis leans in towards Valencia. After all, you are an honorable knight who believes in justice. Yet your parents, as you said, were marauding dragons. Does that not prove my point?
That people can change for the better?
People can change for the better. However, people can also however, as the generations go by, people change. Not everybody holds the same values as they do. One single event, as they do before. One single event, one single change, a single flap of a butterfly's wings. Oof. Oof. You've got something else entirely. A great and honorable leader can become a tyrant. A horrible person can become a martyr. Nothing is set in stone. Everything's in flux.
But law and order clearly works. And I will uphold it, no matter what you say.
Signis sort of laughs and says, law and order works when law and order work when the ones enforcing it are the valorous. When they truly believe in the spirit rather than the letter of the law. When those who are corrupt hold the law.
Are you suggesting King Vendrick is a tyrant?
I wouldn't know about Vendrick, but maybe the other nobles.
Those nobles answer to King Vendrick.
Signis is going to think and say, sometimes rot brews beneath the surface. You cannot see it until you cannot see it until you cut at whatever it is in half. To see corruption, you must look closely. You cannot trust what you have in front of you isn't rotten.
The only corruption here is you.
Signis just sighs as he says, "All right then. When the duel commences, I think so far your disposition has steeled my resolve to do what must be done. During the duel, there is something I definitely have to show you. And with that, I think I'll bid you adieu. After all, you have... I have a feeling you have many more things to talk about with the others."
Valencia doesn't say anything.
Signis fucks off.
Okay. Well, in that case, after that politically charged conversation of legality and righteousness, in comes the follow-up to one of the other conversations, so to speak. In this particular case, Shield Bearer and Atlas, I believe, are up next.
More politics.
More politics.
Oh yeah,
Before-
baby.
you know-
We've got politics and politics. This party is political as fuck.
Before Atlas ends up coming across Shield Bearer, they will come across Signis and just say,
Where do we even get chromium?
Give me a second.
Or manganese, for that matter. We're going to have to figure out how to convert quartz into silicon. I have blueprints for that, but it's going to require advanced electrolysis. Why do you want me to make vanadium steel?
Signis looks at AR and says, Atlas, and says, "Vanadium steel holds its edge, and
That's
holds
all
its edge
well and good. We don't have factories here. We're in the boonies.
If not possible, then high carbon steel will work."
How are we supposed to get carbon?
Signis looks at AR "Brother, what the fuck? How do you not know this?" Charcoal is carbon.
That is all well and good. We do not have factories here. We are in the boonies.
I think after Ace,
Signis suddenly
What-
regrets
what's-
asking Atlas for this, and is like, "I should have just internally I should have just asked Ace to take over the entire thing. I regret my decision."
Ace has the thing in her head,
Come back
Huh.
to me when you create a blast furnace.
Signis is just Signis just sits there Signis just actually like sits there with like his hand and pursed against like the lips of his mask. He's like, I may have made a grave error.
Yes, you did make a grave error because you did not consider the fact that we would need to superheat carbon to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
What in the world is Fahrenheit?
Complete idiot doesn't know how to make any form of steel.
Like Signis is. I have a feeling Signis is not like going off of like a different fucking temperature system. So the immediate question is, the fuck is Fahrenheit?
Just kind of like
They
walks
measure.
off.
They measure it in they measure it in cosm. In Jarnum.
How much is that in Cosm?
But yeah, in that case, Atlas walks away from Signis. Go ahead.
I do find it absolutely hilarious that Atlas probably forgot that Signis has the one mask that literally he used that literally fucking produced plasma. The dragon mask.
That's all
the
well
one
and
that
good. That's
literally
not a fucking blast furnace.
Hey, at least gets that hot.
We got
They haven't
Vulcan.
talked to. They haven't talked to Ace, who is
Signis-
made of
Signis
fire.
is-
Yeah, that's all
Signis
well and
is
good.
like-
She's not a fucking blast furnace. Do you know how high 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit is? You do. You're American. You know how high. You know how fucking hot that is.
Well, here's the thing: she can
Signis is
magically
just gonna-
make herself that hot.
So,
Signis is just gonna walk over to Ace and just say, I
But yeah,
regret
no,
my decision. I regret my decision. Please help. Please help Atlas.
Ace, who's
Well, hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Marine time.
yeah, I was gonna say like
In-
you guys can have that
in
interaction
between
through
jobs.
text. You guys can have that interaction through text if possible. For now, I want us to move on to Shieldbearer and AR's conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, if Shilbear would see AR walking off, he would walk to them and be like, AR 296158. Do you have a moment to talk in private?
I believe that is all I have been doing today, so yes, why not?
You would take them off to a private corner or room.
I feel like it's like the same private room that they've been taken to like twice today.
It's just the same room. Everybody's just been cycling through it. It's just a merry-go-round of room.
It's
Just
listen,
kind of, like we just go into the room, just like.
Watch out for that panel and squeaky.
Watch out for that panel, it's Squeaky Lamau.
he says, listen, I do not seek a discussion or to wrong you in any way. I just like to be prepared. You're standing behind.
Yeah. Okay, and truly, that is actually the best one.
You're standing behind Valencia's choices, right?
That much is correct.
Even the choices of her saying that we need to do everything by law.
If it is the Lady Knight's order, I will allow her to command me to do so.
Then I have a few follow-up questions on that. One, do you know that what we did with the Rotten was against Drangleic law?
I was not aware of that, no.
Taking trophies is heavily been looked against in Drangleic, and under severe cases they might be punishable. Same as you grave robbing, like you did back at the Red King's place.
If that is the case, I appreciate you bringing this to my notice. I will report these to the Lady Knight post-haste.
Then, the most important question I have. If a noble, for whatever reason, has one of your insects under them, by law you are not allowed to do anything to that insect without the proper clarification and permissions of that noble. What would you choose to do?
Article 16 of Lamoth Military Regulations state, show respect to authority but swear no fealty. Article 15 states, orders given from the Council are to be strictly adhered to at all times. In the event that my mission is in conflict with the orders that I have taken, I will admit that they take precedent over anything else that I have said. I am willing to break my oath in order to destroy the swarm. If it means that I shall be put to death afterwards and have to surrender my neck to the blade, I will do so dutifully after I have taken care of the swarm.
I knew you were gonna say that, as he shows you that he has been taking notes of your rules that you stated from the Lamoth military. He says, I'm still waiting for the official completed version, of course, but I've been taking notes. That means that you swear no fealty to Valencia, right?
Atlas kind of like stays still for a little bit, right? And they do say,
The act of following a leader into battle is not the same act as swearing fealty. In an army, you do not swear your existence and your fate to your commanding officer. You would swear it to your king. Or, in my case, the queen.
I know. Just make sure the two of you know it.
I understand. It may not seem like it, but I understand your problems with the leadership of the Lady Knight. In truth, because I have been confiding much today, and perhaps it will eventually help with unit cohesion, I have had the same exact thoughts as you have. However, I wish to allow the Lady Knight to lead, because I believe that she has great potential to be a commander with integrity and virtue. The problem is, and I believe you see this problem as well, she does not know which virtues she wishes to follow. Once she figures that out, she will follow those virtues to the letter. She is capable of great good, and I believe you see it as well. Even if she is unable to do so right now.
Would you promise that whatever I'm gonna say next you keep between us, unless I choose otherwise?
I have no problem making that promise.
He looks at you as if, with the eyes of like, I will wait until you say that you promise.
If I have to perfectly spell it out for you, yes, I promise.
Listen, I know you're a man that follows the letter of the law, not the spirit. And I can respect it. But you might not believe me saying this, especially after everything that happened. But I do wish Valencia to lead us as well. I do not want this leadership, as I do not think you or Signis would follow me.
I think everyone has the potential to be a great leader. And indeed, you have led from the front multiple times. However, I will admit that your assessment is correct. At this point in time, given your experience and your difficulty controlling your emotions, which I do not fault you for, I would not be able to, in good conscience, consider you a suitable commander at this time.
To be fair, we do both have problems. All three of us have problems controlling our... All four of us have problems with controlling our emotions. That includes you, the two of us, and Valencia. But nevertheless, all I seek, and all I have sworn to follow, is someone who protects everyone, not just those of title. And what I've seen with Valencia is that they hope to protect everyone, but seems unsure or at some stages unable to do so, choosing titles over protecting.
I believe that I have an assessment, a prediction of sorts. I have noticed that duels hold great value, not just ceremoniously, but in terms of conflict resolution. And Valencia, most of all, respects the spirit of the duel. When I challenged her to a duel, and she lost, she completely abided by the advice that I imparted upon her loss. No matter how hard-headed she is, to her, the battle is sacred, and the battle is absolute. As for my prediction, if she wins against Signis, then she will immediately have the power to decide what happens next. But it is in that decision that she will feel the pressure of a commander, and we will be able to see her true colors. And hopefully, she will be forged through flame. If she loses to Signis, she will be forced to embark on the path of questioning, considering the options around her, and accepting influence further from others. In any case, I see this duel as a precipice for her ascension into a commander. It will not solve her issues, but I believe the Lady Knight will have to prove herself to us and to herself, because the true moral standing of a person is revealed when the flames whittle them down to their core.
The problem is, If Valencia has ever to grown into the leader I wish they can become, she needs to lose this battle. But to be honest, from what I've assessed so far, I don't see Signis winning.
Let me tell you something that I noticed in terms of the duel. Valencia Draco de Lin specifically said that they, upon winning, will talk to the Duke. Not that Signis would turn himself in, not that we would obey her every command, or at the very least stick to Drangleic law. Her only stipulation was that Signis lay down his arms and speak to the Duke. Yes, I believe that signifies her ideals wavering yet again. She is not fully committing to one act or another. Not tyranny and not outright altruism. But I believe that even if she wins, she has the potential to become the protector that you desire. Because even now, her subconscious is leaving a back door for change. Because I believe deep down she understands that she requires it.
I think you might have misunderstood what I meant just now. With her winning, I don't see her going to the Duke as bad. Well, her talking to people as bad. It's the Duke that I don't trust. If you see how easily Valencia has been manipulated by these nobles, has this perfect picture of them which, trust me, is not at all true for most of them. I fear what the Duke will do to her.
I understand. In that case, I believe the best thing that we can do there is stand behind her. Not stand at the ready for her command, mind you, but provide her the backbone that she needs. If she does prove herself to not have a spine when speaking to the nobles, we can be her vertebra for that moment. At the very least, that is what I plan to do. I will not force such things upon you because, in truth, standing behind the Lady Knight is not a responsibility that must be adhered to by the entire group. It is something that I have decided upon for myself by myself. If you cannot see yourself seeing this through, it is an understandable course of action.
I will make sure this party gets protected the way they need be it by standing with or against Valencia. For protecting this party is what I wish to do.
If it ever comes to the point where the party must choose sides for or against Valencia, know that I will be taking the Lady Knight's side. However, know that I will still be trying my absolute hardest to steer her into being the knight that she wants to be. Even if it does mean that we come to blows.
You know, Shield Basher might never admit it, but we both respect your power to stand for what you believe in. The fact that you seems to have chosen this life, not just got born into it. And I hope that we never meet truly on the battlefield. But if we do, we will not hold back out of that respect. And we will
And
find
that
ways
is,
to even protect you.
and that is the greater respect a soldier of the Gulmoth Iron Cavalry can receive.
May we work together and hope that it never have to ever happen. As he offers you a handshake.
And you probably don't exactly expect this, but Atlas genuinely gives you like not just like a reluctant handshake, but like an earnest handshake. Like it's just like a like there's like just like the actual like clank of like the metal as they just like grab your hand, and like
Yeah.
there is like a resolute sort of joining of the hands there.
Oh
Got
my
sword
god,
sound
the
effect.
party's healing.
Uh-huh. Got sort of sound of it, yeah.
The party's healing. Oh my god. We've been
I
at
have
each
to
other's
do-
throats for so long.
I didn't have to do shit. So
It's the friggin' it's the friggin' what's it called? It's the Dutchin old dude handshake from the Predator movie.
Oh man.
Let's go.
Okay. Do you guys say anything else after this handshake, or just nod in solidarity and go on about your day?
I presume
Yeah.
just not.
Mm-hmm.
Nod in solidarity. Okay.
With like the fucking like sun rays shining like down upon us
Yes.
underneath the fucking window.
Yeah, I'll say, as you guys engage in this handshake, the sun at this point has begun like setting pretty low. Nighttime is soon to come in a matter of a couple of minutes. The last ray of sunshine kind of just bathing this particular window next to you guys, and covering you as you finish, your handshake and your conversation about what may lie for the future of the party. And I think that's about a good enough time to end things off, I think. We started a little bit late, but I think it is getting later for those of you who are in a different time zone. So I think it's appropriate time to end this here. That way we can pick up right in the morning of the next day, so you guys are heading back to the Mayula then.
Yeah.
There is one thing, however, that I would want at least one of you to do here for me. I need one of you, only one of you, whoever, to say high or low and roll me a D100. What do you believe the result will be?
You know what?
I can. Oh yeah.
Friggin' Ace, her aesthetic is gambling, so let's friggin' go. Like on Lady Luck, friggin' Ace is hot. Let's friggin' go.
You're thinking
70! Let's go.
high? Okay. I will note this for the future. You don't need to worry about this just now.
70 pursuers.
70, no, the
70
pursuer has
giants.
70% of health lost.
70 giants
No,
show at the shore of Mayula.
No,
what's up?
this friggin' giant has has
no.
70% to go.
This
Oh.
full disclosure, this was to see if a negative or positive event would happen in Mayula when she returned. I just need to make sure that this to note this for future, so that because I know I will forget next time. But
Just for clarification, does that mean that we do get a long rest?
you got a long rest at the end of
Finally!
And the 1,000 gold of the rewards, was that per person or in total?
it was in total, so you can split that among
Alright, so
yourselves.
yes, 166 per. Alright.
Yeah, we paying that extra gold
Yeah,
to the
that one gold goes
friggin'
to the,
Bart.
yeah, that one gold goes to the barkeeps for having to deal with all this bullshit. So, with that, however, I will say that will bring us to the end of our current session here, as we will pick up right, when you guys are heading back to Majula from Fort Cardinal Town. As a reminder, just before we end things up, it takes at least a couple of days, almost a day of travel, basically, from Fort Cardinal Town to Majula. Let me just measure that out to make sure I...
Did have that shortcut, right?
You had a shortcut
instead
through
of
the mountains, basically cut time by like a couple of miles. It did, however, end with a slight forced march towards the end of that shortcut. So next time when we come back, I will need the con save, I guess, to avoid exhaustion. Not that it matters too much, because you're gonna probably stay in Majula for a little bit. But just so we can have like a record of it.
Yeah.
But with that, before we leave off, thank you guys, whoever's still watching the stream. We appreciate the comments, the likes, the views, everything. I'm glad to see there's some level of engagement, I guess, with people. That always makes me smile.
Yeah.
Shout out once again to Sound Phenomenon for providing the music for most of the campaign here. As well as, shout out to the respective artists for the tokens, for the maps that we use throughout the campaign. And, of course, shout out to our players here and our moderator in the chat, who was here present for a bit. Because, hey, I think I really like, not even like, I think that y'all are pretty awesome players. Or rather, I know that y'all are pretty awesome players. And it's always cool to see these sessions where you guys can interact with each other, fully in character for hours upon hours on end. I think, it's always impressive to see that. But yeah, with that. I will say goodbye to our stream for the time being until we see each other again in the next session of Dark Souls Dirge of Drangleic. Say goodbye, everybody.
Till next time. Later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It technically is. I'm just like putting in chat that thank you all for watching and stuff. Oh, I didn't realize that my mic was still active. Sorry.